embarrassment.
But exactly what I thought would happen, happened. That never happened.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
A new game has landed in North Carolina. Officials are calling this new species of game Cash Pop. So easy to play, it's out of this world. Reports confirm you just pick and match one number to win up to $2,500. With 5 drawings every day, cash landings have been cited across the state. So be on the lookout for Cash Pop from the North Carolina Education Lottery. The wins are out there. Must be 18 to play. See Cash Pop prize and odds chart at nclottery.com for details. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Hey, it's Adam Gold for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sports book, because FanDuel's your home for live NBA betting. So even if you miss the start of the game, you're not out of luck. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. New customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Go to FanDuel.com/AdamGold and join today. FanDuel.com/AdamGold for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score!
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
Now Jarvis will take the puck into the Utah zone. Out in front for he scores! Point to the passer! Canada to Finland, and another shorthanded goal, and the Canes go up 4-2. Now Jarvis coming in on Ramelka. He scores! A beautiful goal, Seth Jarvis, and the Canes go up 5-2.
This is the Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Boy, did I love that play. Boy, did I love that period. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I am Adam Gold. Thank you very much for joining us on this, a day filled with joy, filled with love.
Happy V-Day!
Happy Valentine's Day? You got to be careful there. It's a Friday. Wow, what happens?
Hey.
Is it a better day because it's a Friday and it's Valentine's Day?
Maybe. Maybe it helps people's plans if they, have a new bottle of wine and it gives them a hangover tomorrow. They don't have to go to work.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Very nice. So you are, that's Victoria. I'm Adam. By the way, we're available on YouTube every day, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show or /999 The Fan. You can find us either way. I am not wearing red because did I forget it was Valentine's Day? No. But when I was getting dressed, I did.
Oh, well, yeah.
I also, to be fair, don't own many red things.
Oh.
I have red pants.
Yeah.
But I do not really have red shirts, although I actually had one in the car.
Well, this is how we balance each other in multiple ways.
You have a sweater with hearts on it.
I know. And for some reason, my camera in here doesn't work, but maybe I can use it. Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. Look
there
at that.
It is, manually.
Happy Valentine's Day.
I'm very festive. I love festive
You are.
stuff.
You are, don't take this the wrong way, predictable in your ability to dress the holiday.
I like to make
Right.
ordinary days not ordinary.
So
yes.
during the whole Christmas run-up, you were resplendent in your festive wear. I can only assume that when we get to St. Patrick's Day, you're going to be all sorts of green.
I've got something up my sleeves, my green sleeves.
Very nice. So happy Valentine's Day to you. Shout out to, honestly, one of my favorite all-time, not one of my all-time favorite managers, but one of my all-time favorite sports characters, Bobby Valentine.
Ah, yeah.
Former Mets manager, took him to the World Series, the Subway Series in 2000, famously invented the wrap sandwich. Just ask him. He's told that story on this show before. And shouts to Ellis Valentine, who was an outfielder for both the Mets and the Expos. Wasn't nearly as good with the Mets as he was with the Expos. But honestly, the Mets have made a history out of getting players who were good elsewhere and not good there. Probably had something to do with the fact that they were on lesser teams. Anyway, Ellis Valentine was a right fielder for the Mets who once gave me a bat right before a game. We were sitting down the right field line, and we were there early for batting practice. It was probably about a half hour before a game at Shea Stadium. This has to be in the, I would say, very early 80s. And he walked over to where we were sitting, which was right on the rail, pretty far down the right field line. And he handed me a bat that was cracked from batting practice. I kept that bat forever. Ellis Valentine wasn't with the Mets very long.
Yeah.
But I had that bat for significantly longer than Ellis Valentine was with the Mets. So, shouts to Ellis Valentine, shouts to Bobby Valentine, shouts to Caleb Love, shouts to Reggie Love.
Yes.
And I'm sure there are other
All
loves, other loves, other hearts, other Valentines. It'll be the extent of my Jordan Love, exactly. It'll be the extent of my honoring athletes with names that are synonymous with the holiday.
Yeah, or Hart.
Or Hart.
Do we do like Bret Hart?
How about just the band Hart?
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
That's a good one.
Big time.
They spell it like that, too.
They absolutely do. All right. Let's start.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it
By the way, not to tell tales on my younger son. He had his first Valentine's Day with a, air quotes, girlfriend.
A special someone? Nice.
Flowers to school, gets out of the car. It's 6:50 in the morning. Wants to get to school a little early so he can put them where he knows she'll see them, and because they have the same classroom in a certain, not in the same period.
Yeah.
But he wanted to leave them there for her.
That's sweet.
But we got like whistles from teachers and whatnot when he got out.
Oh, fun.
So he was like, "Yeah, that's."
Hey, at least teach him young. Start him young.
He did this on his own. It was actually not encouraged, but there you go. So happy Valentine's Day to all the people who are celebrating Valentine's Day, which is to say, all of us. All right, I bought, by the way, Wegmans is a racket.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Awesome. I am a big fan
Same.
of Wegmans.
Love the Wegmans.
I am never going to disparage Wegmans.
Yep.
Man, people know where to go.
It's going to be a danger zone today.
It's
like Christmas, I'm sure.
The hand-dipped strawberries.
Yeah.
Woo, baby.
Well, and I'm such a plant nerd, they do have a great plant section.
Yes, they do.
So that's always primo, too.
Absolutely great. Flowers are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow roses for my wife.
Oh, that's a
Drop
preference.
those off today. So.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
See?
Wegmans, best place to go.
Oh, yeah. And
right.
tasty food.
Oh, the food is amazing. Great. I mean, it's just a great supermarket, but it's also an emporium.
Yes.
All right, so let's get started with last night. USA 6, Finland 1.
What a game.
What the Kachuk?
I know.
So they combined for 4 goals, 5 points. Brady Kachuk, Matthew Kachuk, awesome. I actually think they got the star of the game backwards. They gave, because I think Matthew Kachuk had an additional assist. So they gave him the first star. But I thought Brady Kachuk, although he played less than Matthew, for me, I thought Brady Kachuk was the best player.
He made more of an impact on the ice.
Early. Because I thought his line with Matt Boldy and I think Dylan Larkin, but I could be wrong.
It's crazy.
I think it was Dylan Larkin. I think they set the tone for the U.S. early. They got the goal back right away. But USA's really, really good. They're awesome on defense, even without Quinn. Think about putting Quinn Hughes on this team.
Woo.
Right? They
Hughes
are
brothers.
Awesome on defense.
So
Jack was good, but I thought Jack could have been better.
He's fast.
Oh, my gosh. It's shifty.
Yeah.
So, because I thought that it was really a very misleading scoreline. Think about this. With 3 minutes to go in the second period, it's 1-1. So if you woke up, you didn't watch the game, I don't know what else you would have been watching last night. Maybe you were watching Juju Watkins go 38, 11, and 8 blocks in USC's win over UCLA.
Maybe.
She is unreal as a player. So maybe you were watching other things and you just got the score. And you thought, USA, what a laugher. No. That game could have gone either way late into the second period. Matt Boldy, great redirect on a shot. I think it was a Werenski shot. I have no idea. Whoever shot the puck. Great redirect. Must have been Werenski. He had 3 assists last night. And that made it 2-1 with under 3 minutes left in the second period. Finland took, I think it was Aho, took the ill-advised penalty late in the period, and the U.S. scored 15 seconds into the third. Then they scored on the bump-up shift, and then they scored 3 minutes in. Quick story about this. So I watched I watched the entire game, except for a small section. So I tweet out, because I had the U.S. minus 1.5 goals, and it had over 6 goals.
Same, yeah.
Right? So I tweet out late in the second period, this game is not going to be as high scoring as I thought, apparently. And this was before, it was still 1-1 at the time. And then it became 2-1. Still 2-1. We're not really close to over 6. I need 4 goals in the third period.
Lots got to happen.
I was not anticipating that. So, we have horses. My wife owns horses. So she was asleep on the couch. I did her a solid in advance of Valentine's Day. Went out to the barn, did a couple of things, whatever, blanket horses. And I come back, and I missed 3.5 minutes of the third period.
Oh.
And I walked in, and I looked at the TV, and I'm like, wait a second, does that say 5-1?
Yeah.
So I had to go rewind to watch that.
Uh-huh.
So I caught up eventually, but
It's like a game within a game.
3 goals in 3 minutes. And really, after the 4-1 goal, it was over. Finland was never, ever going to score 3 times against the United States team. Against the United States defense.
Yeah, and the Kachuk show.
But, it's funny. I did need one more goal, though. It's 5-1. 6 doesn't do me any good.
No.
It would have been nice if Mikko Rantanen or Alexander Barkov could have scored that goal.
Jake Eichel? Why didn't you score?
Jack
Eichel? Like, why didn't you? Jake Gensel,
Jake Gensel did. Jack Eichel was a good player, but he didn't score.
He didn't score.
But because I had action on Barkov and Rantanen as well as anytime goal scorers, but they were no-time goal scorers. But I did win the parlay when Matthew Tkachuk scored on the power play on a deflection. He deflected the Werenski shot, and then he put the rebound in. That made it 6-1. That took me over 6, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Finland's blue line was depleted, right? They had 3 injuries to players who would have otherwise made the team, including Dallas's best defenseman, Miro Heiskanen, who would have been their power play guy, even though he's not awesome, I don't think, on the power play. But he would have been their power play quarterback. Finland's power play had 5 forwards on it, which, not ideal, but, it happens. Hurricanes have used 5 forwards on a power play a long time ago, but that power play wasn't any good either. So, but Finland's problem with their blue line wasn't that they're not good defenders, because I think they're pretty good defenders, pretty much all of them. It's that they don't really have a pair for Asa Lindell, who is Dallas's other top defenseman. He and Heiskanen would have, my guess is, formed their top defensive pairing and probably would have played 27 minutes a night, like Victor Hedman. Because Nico Mikkola, whatever his first name is, he's good, but he's not a top pair defenseman. Certainly not against the United States. But the biggest problem that Finland had was that they could not get the puck out of their own end without the forwards coming all the way back to help. So there was no way that they were really going to be able to create enough offense. And it really showed throughout the game. Finland was very non-threatening. The first goal was no good for Connor Hellebuck to allow. I'd love to see somebody show me that they had Henry Jokiharju for first goal scorer, because that number had to be like plus 5,000.
Ridiculous, yeah. No one was guessing that.
Are you joking?
It's like Finland spent all of their energy in the first period, and then they were done.
But they were good in the second period, too, until they just were not threatening. They mounted nothing offensively. They had some transition opportunities. Aho to Rupe Hintz twice. I know there was an argument that he could have kept the puck the second time and shot it. Okay. But the pass across was more than good enough for Hintz to bury. He just whiffed on it. The other time, Aho passed Hintz in a 3-on-2 in the middle of the ice, and Hintz inexplicably made another pass. I mean, dude, you're right in front of the goal. Shoot it. But therein lie the problems for the Finns. They just can't generate enough offense, and that goes for Rantanen as well. Rantanen played nearly 20 minutes, including a lot on the power play, and really did nothing. He had no shots on goal. Aho didn't have any shots on goal either. But Rantanen's playing with Barkov and Arturi Lehkonen, former teammate with Colorado. Aho was playing with Patrick Laine, who's had a great year for once he got back for Montreal, and Roope Hintz, who's been okay, not great, but good for Dallas. And that's a line that needs to score too, and they didn't. But again, the United States significantly better. Tomorrow, Sweden, Finland, 1 o'clock. Awesome game. I mean, long-standing international hockey rivalry. And then USA, Canada at 8. USA leads the standings with 3 points. Canada's got 2 because their win came in overtime. Sweden got a point for getting to overtime. Finland's got 0. So both games tomorrow have consequences. Finland isn't out of it if they get, they'll need a regulation win to have any chance, but Finland's not out of it. Sweden, even with 1 point, isn't out of it. And USA-Canada, we don't have to say anything more.
No, we don't.
A USA regulation win puts Canada in some jeopardy.
I know.
If Sweden wins.
Which they need that help because Canada, woo!
Very fast. Incredibly fast. Canada in goal.
It looks like USA needed this game to like help them warm up or something because if they were up against Canada in the same game, oh my gosh. I mean, they eventually might have come back, but wow. Wow. That would have been like a football score, 14-10.
Canada's good, but Canada only beat Sweden that doesn't have a hugely deep roster. Canada needed overtime to beat Sweden and got beat badly in the third period. Give up 2 third-period goals. So, fascinating. Both games are awesome tomorrow. Cannot wait to watch them. All right. So this story has been, I don't think it's brand new. We have seen it throughout the week, but it is official, and it is on WRALSportsFan.com, so direct you there. But let me bring in my friend Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter, who joins us. Apparently, there is a new segment on the 7 o'clock news on TV5 called Murph's Turf, which coincides with his Twitter handle, @Murph's Turf. We have the McMurray Family Director of Athletics, in which, I guess, textile man, Brian and his wife, Connie McMurray, have donated $5 million to endow the athletic director's position at NC State. $3 million goes to that. $2 million goes to the athletic department at large. And Brian Murphy joins us on the Adam Gold Show. I think I got all of that right. So here's my question. Because it's not new, and we'll read some Stanford endowments in a minute, which are hysterical. $3 million to endow the salary of the athletic director at NC State, and how long is that $3 million going to go?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Adam. Boo Corrigan makes about $1.4 million, so if it just goes straight into salary, that won't last very long, but I imagine they'll invest that money over some time and try to have it so that, you're removing some of the cost off of the athletic department at the beginning and then maybe all of it down the road eventually. But yeah, the athletics costs a lot of money. I was digging through some financial forms yesterday, and NC State has about $124 million budget, and so $5 million is not nothing for sure.
Right. Oh yeah, no, it's especially with what is coming, and it's supposed to be coming for this upcoming year. Of course, we haven't necessarily seen the full parameters of anything yet. We're supposed to see those, the rules and regs starting in July. I would imagine the universities have to know about this ahead of time. But this is not unusual across college sports. So let me just read for some people. Did you know that Troy Taylor is not the head football coach at Stanford? Troy Taylor is the Bradford M. Freeman Directorship of Football. How about that? Or Director of Football. Not a head coach. He's a director of football. Stanford's got like 15 different coaching positions, fully endowed at the university. Their endowment covers everything. Their scholarships are taken care of, I believe, with Stanford's endowment. I guess NC State's just a little late to this game?
Well, yeah, two of the assistant coaches on Duke's staff have titled positions. I don't know if they are fully endowed, but they're titled, so that means they're getting some money for those positions. And this is, if you go to any college campus, right, every building has a name. Well, guess how those buildings got those names? Right. It wasn't because they wanted, they just picked them out of a hat. Usually they donated an awful lot of money. And so this is just sort of expanding what the college model is to athletics, where we're not quite as familiar with it. But the School of Journalism has a title sponsor, a family that has named it. I call it a title sponsor, but it has a family that's named it.
Sure.
As part of this, there was a $20 million biomedical department joint between NC State and UNC, and that got named this week. Someone donated $20 million to have their family's name on this biomedical engineering department between the two schools. So this is kind of the way of the world. I think athletics is going to have to get used to it.
Oh, I mean, honestly, we should. That's awesome. And if people want,
Right.
Look, I'd love to see it, and to the biomedical side of this. I mean, ideally, especially if people are paying attention, especially to federal funding of certain research grants across the country with universities, especially medical research and cancer research, donations to the academic sector and the research sector are probably they will go a long, long way to kind of covering for what is no longer coming. So we can have that. That's a different debate for a different show. But these are as you said, they're no different than title sponsors. Why do you think there are people who might have a problem with this? Does the McMurray family wield any influence now over the director of athletics?
Brian McMurray has been on the board of directors for the Wolfpack Club for the last 10 years or so. 12
So he probably
years.
already had it.
Right. He's the former past president of the Wolfpack Club. So, I mean, big donors to your athletic department already have, access. I'm sure when
Right.
he calls that Boo Corrigan or Randy Woodson pick up the phone a lot faster than if you or I call. So I'm not sure he gets any more influence. If he'd given $5 million to the school or just to the athletic department, I think he'd have the same influence that he has, giving it specifically to the athletic director position. I mean, you mentioned, NC State's looking to sell the naming rights to Carter Finley Stadium. They're looking to have concerts there.
Right.
UNC said you may see logos on the court, on the field. You may eventually see logos on their helmets.
You should.
Or their jerseys.
We should sell everything.
I think all of this is coming.
We should sell everything. I've actually been talking about this for a while because when we're looking for money, I mean, I think the ACC should sell a title sponsorship to their football games.
Right. Especially the rivalry games, right? NC State, UNC should have some sort of title sponsor.
Yeah, they should also have a trophy. But they don't have a trophy. We don't have a Floyd of Rosedale, which is a pig, right? We don't have something like that. We don't have a
tobacco leaf.
Right, exactly. We actually had long time ago suggested a spittoon, and that the loser would actually get it, not the winner, and the object would be to get rid of the trophy, not gain the victory bell, but lose the spittoon. Obviously, that was a different time and a different place. But why hasn't NC State put a corporate sponsorship on Carter Finley Stadium? Who would that bother at this point?
Yeah, it's been interesting to me, covering sort of this need for money now that they're probably going to have to share $20.5 million, starting at $20.5 million, with athletes. Like a lot of ideas that may have been like, we can't really do that because you were college athletics. I think all that's out the window. Let's put naming rights on everything. Whatever the new Smith Center, wherever it gets built and whenever it gets built, I assume we'll have a corporate name. Like all of those old models of how we can't really do that because we're college athletics and amateurism and all that, I think is out the window at this point.
Yeah, we got to stop. And Libman, right? I know they've got at least a corporate sponsorship for whatever, just regular advertising, but they make brooms and mops and things like that. And what a perfect thing if UNC sweeps NC State in the season series, the Libman sweep of NC State. We have all sorts of fun things we can do.
I watch a lot of Yankees games, and every time there's a strikeout, they play the W.B. Mason little theme song.
There you go.
Behind it. It's very quick, but it activates something Pavlovian in your brain every single time. And I think, man, if the Yankees are willing to sell they have now a sponsor on a patch on their jerseys, and if they're willing to sell every strikeout, like there's got to be more stuff that colleges can sell.
I would sell everything. I joked about this, and we'll close on this. Here's what I would do with the football field. Every 20-yard segment would have a different sponsor on it. You get 20. I guess you could buy more if you wanted. And I'm not saying we would change the color of the field, but if you bought from the 20 into the end zone, it's Subway, and from the 20 to the 40, Chipotle, I would do that. I would sell every 20-yard segment.
And then Jones Angel is like, Carolina has entered the Verizon 40-yard line.
There you go. They've crossed the whatever, the timeout chicken, the 50-yard line. That's what I would do that. I mean, you got it. We have to understand that we need more money to make these things work, and we can't pretend that there is any sanctity left in any of these sports, because they're not. They've all sold out to corporate, to money, not corporate. They've all become. The whole thing is a for-profit enterprise, and we need to come to grips with that.
Professional franchises,
all of them
at this point. And I think the biggest. I mean, and maybe this doesn't change NC State's equation, or Duke, or Wake, or UNC, but the ACC's got to kind of make changes to wring more money out of its television contract. So, like, fairness has to go away a little bit. So Notre Dame has to play Clemson more often, or Miami more often.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, the notion of like fairness and an equitable schedule and all that is sort of out the window as well.
Yeah, I think actually if you were going to ask Notre Dame, and we're going way too long here, Notre Dame should play Clemson, Florida State, and Miami every year, and then rotate the other schools in and out of that schedule. I understand that it's going to annoy some other schools, but sorry. Anyway, Brian Murphy, Murph's Turf on Twitter, and of course the new segment on the 7 o'clock news. Murph's Turf.
Glad you saw that.
I did. I enjoyed it. It was so like casual, off the cuff. Oh, look who it is! It's Brian Murphy. Wonderfully done, sir. Nice tie. I'll talk to you very soon.
All right, thanks, Adam. I appreciate it.
You got it, Brian Murphy here on the Adam Gold Show. Vashti Hurt celebrated a birthday two days ago. She is in Charlotte. She is the woman behind CarolinaBlitz.com that covers all sports in the state. We will talk to her about the Cam Newton versus the losers next.
From the heels,
touchdown, Carolina,
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Johnson trying to step back for a three. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damas from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The Get That Out of Here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Hey, man, been to Sharky's lately?
Yeah, man, I was there last night with you. Oh, yeah. The wings and the burgers are killer. They have so many beers, it's hard to choose, you know?
I know. You know, they got trivia on Tuesdays and luck of the draw darts on Sunday, man. I love them both.
Yeah, I love that place, man.
You know what, man? I think Sharky's may be the best bar in the world.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. Let's go grab a beer.
Sharky's at the corner of Delta Lake Drive and Raleigh Road. Open 7 days a week.
Attention lovebirds. Valentine's Day is almost here, and Diamonds Direct has the gifts to wow your special someone. From dazzling diamonds and trending gold to vibrant gemstones, pearls, even timepieces. With hundreds of stunning styles under $1,000 and an exquisite collection of one-of-a-kind luxury pieces. Make your moment unforgettable. The best selection, value, and service are waiting for you. Make this Valentine's unforgettable with fine jewelry for every budget. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds this weekend at the Carr Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Carr Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission and parking.
We all want more for North Carolina. More boundless views, more adventures in the outdoors, and more clean roads to get there. But to get more, we have to do less. Less littering, that is. Make it your nature to trash your trash and keep NC clean. And we'll all have more reasons to love North Carolina. Litter less, get more. For more on the 7 outdoor NC Leave No Trace principles, visit OutdoorNC.com. Sponsored by the North Carolina Association of Broadcasters and Visit North Carolina, a part of the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina in cooperation with this station.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold.
Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
One Adam. Gold. One Adam. Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. What an unbelievable song.
Oh, yes.
And an unbelievable rendition of this song, Etta James, the great.
And there's a great cover of it, too, also.
Of this? By who?
I need to look up his name because it's escaping me right now, but it's really good. I'll have it for you when we come back.
Be tough to get better than Etta James.
I know.
Awfully difficult.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, Etta James is
awfully difficult to get better than Etta James. Also, awfully difficult to find a harder working person in sports media than Vashti Hurt. Do not believe that person exists. The woman behind CarolinaBlitz.com, who covers everything in the state of North Carolina, who just celebrated a birthday, has recovered, actually was hard at work yesterday. So you must have dialed it back on Wednesday, Vashti. Happy birthday first. How are you?
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I mean, I turned up a bit. It was a very, very good birthday, but it was also a Wednesday night, and it was raining.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, I think we had wrapped up the festivities by midnight. But yeah.
I haven't seen midnight. Oh, my gosh. All right. So I'm sure that you have thoughts. Cam Newton said during Super Bowl week on Travis Hunter's podcast that when he got to the Panthers, it was a locker room full of losers. Steve Smith, of course, did not take kindly to that. I think Cam's point was delivered inartfully, to say the least. I've always thought that Cam really spoke in his Cam font that he uses on social media, so that there's something lost in the translation for what Cam says out loud. But what are your thoughts on what Cam had to say?
Yeah, Cam has not always been the best articulator of his thoughts. And when I heard this, I immediately thought back to the whole controversy about him speaking about women running routes or women speaking about or talking about routes. And even in that, I think that Cam doesn't mean harm. At least in that point, I know he didn't mean harm. In this one, I think that, folks, we got to understand now at this point, Cam is no longer a quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. Cam is media personality Cam.
Yeah.
He is like, Stephen A. Smith adjacent, and that's what he's aspiring to be. And so in order to get the clicks, in order to get us talking about it, you have to say stuff like that. And he has picked up on it very quickly. He doesn't care what his former teammates think. He doubled down on it basically yesterday in a video that I saw. And so, you know what? He said he went into a locker room of losers. That's what he meant. And I also think that the guys who took offense, his former teammates, they were right in their feelings as well, because, as our teammate, this is not something you really should be saying to the masses about your former teammates, guys that actually a few years later were with you when you went on that Super Bowl run. But now you have to separate Cam, the media personality, from Cam, the player, and this is what we're getting.
Vashti is joining us here at Keep Blitzin on Twitter. Mike, I'd like to think that he wasn't really thinking about, as he said, a locker room full of losers. I'd like to think he wasn't thinking about Steve Smith, Jonathan Stewart, D'Angelo Williams, John Beeson, Jordan Gross, Charles Johnson. There were some incredible, grown men, solid NFL football players. Those are winning players. I'd like to think that he wasn't specifically thinking of them when he uttered this, because it was a locker room that didn't have a lot of depth, had Jimmy Clausen at quarterback the year before, had guys who just couldn't figure out a way to become good players. There were a number of those players. I don't know if losers is the right word, but there certainly were a lot of players who wouldn't be called winners. But those guys that I mentioned, those guys are winners to me.
Of course. Absolutely, they're winners, and they proved that when the team started winning. I think if he wanted to be politically correct in his phrasing, he could have said he went into a losing locker room and not a locker room of losers. I think saying losers actually personalizes it and attaches that label, of course, to specific guys. And, in his response, he asked about when did we get so sensitive? And being around Cam Newton in the locker room when he was playing and even post, he would have taken offense to it if somebody said that about him.
Right.
And no, those guys weren't losers. They proved that they weren't losers. Some of those guys were on the 2003 team that went to the Super Bowl. So, could he have articulated it better? Of course. But at this point, when I hear Cam say stuff, it's like, okay, this is Cam, the media personality, and he's fully embracing that. So you gotta go with it, and he'll have to answer to those guys when he sees them in person.
Vashti is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, CarolinaBlitz.com. All right, so just a couple of quick questions about this. First of all, Steve Smith had the biggest reaction to it. Now, when Cam got to Carolina, Steve Smith, not a fan. And they had their dust-ups. I related a story during the Super Bowl in 15, Super Bowl run in 15. I guess it's 2016 now. The calendar had flipped. When we were in San Francisco, and I got a chance to do a walk-in talk with Steve Smith about the Panthers being in the game, and he was fine to talk to me as long as he had to get to the next interview. But as soon as I asked him a question about Cam Newton, he shut it down. He would not talk about Cam. So the interview, which could have been 3.5 to 4 minutes, ended up being about 70 seconds. And because as soon as I asked him about Cam, he just put his hand up and sped away. He did not even want to address Cam Newton. So I don't know. They apparently at some point maybe repaired the relationship. I don't think so, really. I think that was for appearances. What do you think their relationship is?
I don't think they like each other.
Yeah.
At least we know how Steve Smith feels. And I don't know if it's anyone's fault. When Cam came into Carolina, that was Steve Smith's team, right?
Yep.
And everybody knew it. And so I don't know if Steve Smith blames Cam Newton for his unceremonious departure from Carolina. I always sensed that.
Yeah.
And I felt like the higher ups, wanted Cam to fully embrace his role as the leader of the Panthers. And you couldn't do that if Steve Smith was still on the roster, because not only was he more tenured, he had more respect at that point, and he was still a very good player. And so Steve Smith is the type of guy who will hold a grudge, and he doesn't forget. And I respect that, honestly. And so I think that Steve Smith always has had beef with Cam because of how things went down in Carolina, and he's held on to that. And then because of that, there's some resentment on Cam's part because he's like, bro, I didn't do anything to you. I didn't have anything to do with that. Why do you have beef with me? And so now it's that back and forth. I'm interested to see because Steve Smith is always at Bank of America Stadium. Yep. He works with the Panthers during the offseason. He calls some of the games. If the Panthers are trying to repair the relationship with Cam Newton, whether these guys will cross paths and have a conversation. It would be a sit-down that would garner a lot of looks. People would want to see it. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if they made that happen or tried to facilitate something like that. But, yeah, I just don't think – and even Steve Smith said it. One of the comments said, oh, no, this is family drama. And Steve Smith said, no, this is no family, just drama. And so that tells you right there, he doesn't look at Cam Newton as part of his family when it comes to being a former or comes to being a Panthers legend. And he doesn't embrace him as such. And then, therefore, I feel like Cam has some resentment with that. And I understand both sides of the coin.
Oh, there's no question. And Cam told the story about his son asking, Dad, where's your, where's your picture? Where's your statue? And I've been told that his picture is all, very present within the offices and all of that. So Cam is maybe using.
Really?
Is it?
It's no.
Okay, I honestly don't know. The last time it's been a long time since I have been even inside Bank of America Stadium. For a football game, let alone in anything that would be a Panthers event.
Very, very present is a reach.
Okay.
He is nowhere in the locker room, and they do have by position groups, former players, like where the linebackers are. They have either Thomas Davis or Luke Kuechly, and these are pictures that they switch out.
Right.
They have maybe a Greg Olsen. Cam Newton's picture has never been in the locker room. And around the stadium, there is a picture from that Amazon Prime series that they did where all of those team captains were walking out. There are no individual pictures of Cam Newton that I've seen.
So maybe he had a point last year, which when I made the point, it was shot down by people telling me that his picture was all over the place. Real final thing about this, Vashti. That's great insight, by the way. What's Cam's relationship with the city of Charlotte?
You mean as far as the fans?
Fans. I know he always did the backpacks for kids. He was a great, especially with kids. He gave back a ton.
I think people still love Cam in the city. And when it came out, when he said that he wasn't around the stadium, people were upset. And a lot of people said, oh, yeah, you're right. You don't see as much about Cam Newton, especially given his impact on the franchise, as you would think. And, I think that if and when they repair that relationship, it will be huge. We just saw just a few years ago when he returned for those few games, people were hanging his jersey off of their off of their balconies in uptown Charlotte like flags. Mm-hmm. So Cam Newton will always be a beloved part of the city of Charlotte. Every young fan that is a Carolina Panthers fan is a fan because of Cam Newton. And so that's never going to go anywhere. Now the team, the franchise, and Cam Newton have to bridge that gap, because I don't know of an ambassador for the team who would be better than Cam Newton. And then also having that positive relationship would help Cam as well in his endeavors as a media personality. So both sides need to come together, but the love for Cam is never going anywhere. I mean, he literally is going to have to really bash the team or say that Bryce Young is trash and he'll never be good. And then people might be like, whoa. But outside of that, I mean, that love isn't going anywhere.
Vashti Hurt, at Keep Blitzing on Twitter, CarolinaBlitz.com. You're the best. Happy birthday to you. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you. Vashti Hurt. That's the kind of stuff that is needed about the backstory with Newton and the team, Newton and Steve Smith. This is a triangle that needs to be repaired. So
the fans, and as one, want that.
Yes.
We all want that. We want to
Absolutely.
see them mended, which I think Steve was maybe on board more so, but I don't know. Who knows?
He might not want it.
Well, not after the loser comment.
I get it.
I'm sure not after that. But
I get it. As Vashti said, she understands all sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. I would just say this. The franchise has never been more relevant than when Cam Newton was the quarterback. Even when they were good, they weren't as relevant as when Cam Newton was the face of the team. Speaking of, Jake Delhomme, next hour. Not really on Cam, on Bryce.
Then, yeah.
Jake is one of the greats. I love Jake Delhomme. Everything about him. We'll talk to Jake next hour about the progress of Bryce Young. We'll do one-timers next.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Electricity. It's what powers our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. In North Carolina, 26 local electric cooperatives provide energy to 2.8 million people across the state. But we're providing so much more than affordable, reliable power. We're helping to strengthen the people and communities that make our state great, today and for generations to come. North Carolina's electric cooperatives. Power you can count on, now and always. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com.
A crisis moment is any moment where you feel overwhelmed and as if you aren't able alone to handle what's happening. You don't have to be alone with that feeling. And when that feeling comes is exactly when you should reach out, you should get connected, and you should be in community. We care, we listen, we help. Call, text, or chat 988 anytime.
Call, text, or chat 988-24/7. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and my friends at FanDuel are here to remind you that we are almost in March. That's college basketball's month, and right now, new customers on FanDuel can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $150 extra bucks, somebody else's money, to bet on everything from conference titles to tournament upsets, even who's going to be cutting down the big nets. FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS. Get in on the college hoops action before March takes over. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job. And Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance. And Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
It's that time of year when we gear up to cheer on our favorite team. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on the team you love the most by getting your flu and COVID vaccines. They are safe and effective. Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against new virus strains spreading this fall and winter. So make sure you don't miss the big game and you protect those around you. Ask your healthcare provider about updated flu and COVID-19 shots.
Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
When your kid can't find the language, find the lyrics at soundedouttogether.org. Brought to you by Pivotal Ventures.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
So I was reading an article about the 10 oddest Guinness World Records, and the thing that caught my eye was most skips by a cat in 1 minute. This woman has a jump rope and is skipping with her cat. Okay, I have got a cat, and let me just tell you, the skipping alone would cause this, but swinging a jump rope anywhere near my sweet kitty Carol, she'd be gone for like 5 days.
The Adam Gold Show.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Next hour, after we talk with Jake Delhomme, we will read sports poems that people have sent in to us.
Yeah.
About what they love about sports or what they love to hate about sports. So we'll do that for Valentine's Day. A little twist on the Valentine's Day thing. We'll read some creativity, and we have some very creative people. Although some people don't follow the rules. The whole point was to do something we could read in 15 seconds or less.
Yeah.
Some of these will not pass muster, but we might read them anyway.
Yeah.
Just because. So happy Valentine's Day to you and yours.
I know. That one was for my sweetie. I love you. Michael, he's listening
gosh.
right now, so.
Lucky man, Michael. Lucky man. All right. We might only have one timer.
One timer.
But we'll see.
Okay, so just in case, because I want to give shout-outs to our YouTubers. So from the YouTube stream, we did have Butch on YouTube talk about when you were talking about NC State and corporate advertisers. And he said corporate advertisers aren't interested in branding a stadium anymore. Consumer direct is more profitable. Agree or disagree?
Lenovo Center is what? I mean, Franklin Financial Field in Philadelphia is what? So they are, I think, depending on what kind of return they can get on it. But I don't think we're beyond that at all because we keep having it. So I can respectfully disagree.
Oh, we're going to have time for two. Okay, so this weekend, 4 nations back at it. Can you see Sweden actually coming back and maybe beating Canada?
Well, they can't beat Canada. They won't. Well, they could, I guess, in the final, but they won't play Canada again. They played Canada once. You only play everybody once. If Sweden beats Finland in regulation, Canada might be in a little bit of trouble. if they lose to the United States in regulation, which could happen. It's been great hockey.
Making more sports sense than social media trolls. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
If Super Bowl 59 shows us anything, it shows that defense wins championships. That tried and true saying, defense wins championships. And if you're the Carolina Panthers, this is something you have to devote this offseason to fixing. Draft picks, free agency. You have to strengthen up that side of the football. You have to be great on defense in order to win.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling, we do the job right every time.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling is celebrating 51 years of trusted service. And to celebrate, get a furnace tune-up for just $51. That's peace of mind heating for only $51. Visit MitchellHVAC.com. Mitchell Heating and Cooling, quality products and services on time from a family you trust. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Bonuses used to be everywhere. Boxes of cereal, a baker's dozen, airline upgrades, even without quadruple diamond platinum status. Life is better with the bonus. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery is adding bonus chances to multiply your win on Multiply the Cash scratch-offs. More chances than ever to win over $140 million in total prizes. Because everything is better with a bonus. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.31 to 4.86. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Time to get ready for golf season, and Global Golf is ready for you. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs and can help every part of your game, from lessons, club fittings, and repairs. Don't forget, we take trade-ins. Bring in your current clubs and get store credit towards your new clubs. You're invited to Global Golf, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Hey, nice job, Pete. I like those clean lines. Fellas, do we have anyone that can get to Greenport today?
At Corey's Landscaping, the staffing plan is in the weeds.
Anthony, we need that leaf blower over here. 3 more new customer requests just came in. Who wants to work some overtime?
He needs to dig up quality landscapers and fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The Hurricanes believe that they will be able to create an environment in which Mikko Rantanen wants to exist for the next 8 years of his NHL career. That's what they believed. They believed that when they made the trade, they believe that today. And whether or not he re-signs, nobody knows. If Rantanen wants to be here, they are willing to pay him what it takes to get him. If it's the last thing I do, I will make people nationally believe that. I do wonder this, though, because I know we have a fair amount of Hurricanes fans listening, following along on YouTube. This is the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria is here. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there. And you can watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/Adam Gold Show or /999 The Fan. And when Victoria speaks enough and the camera focuses on her, she will represent our Valentine's Day vibe.
I know. Well, the camera for some reason's broken, so here I got to do it manually.
Oh, yeah? Okay, so that's how it happened last time.
There you go.
See, look.
I'm repping the Valentine.
Hearts on a
very festive
on an off-white background, right? We would say off-white.
Yes, it's
antique white.
Yes, you would say that. More I wash it, the more.
Interesting.
We'll see. We'll see what it looks like
well,
after a few more washes.
It hasn't sapped the color of the hearts.
Not yet.
So on Wednesday, and we talked about what this tournament was likely to be. On Wednesday, and we talked about what this tournament was likely to be. And John concurred, was fearful that it would be too close to all-star game intensity, that we wouldn't see physicality, that we would see a lot of skating, which could be good, but there's a lot of players who don't play that way, who play a more direct, in-your-face game. Like if we were just having a skating game, I can't imagine we'd have JT Miller out there. Not that he's a bad skater, but part of his game is to agitate, which he did put on display very early in the game yesterday. But we have seen legitimately good, maybe not super physical hockey, but I don't think we've seen anybody avoid physicality. This has been very representative of what I think we are going to see when the best-on-best return to the Olympics. Now, we'll have more nations involved, but, I mean, it has been very good hockey. That game last night was, I think, a game that could have gone either way late into the second period when the Americans took a 2-1 lead on a deflection from a point shot that beat UC Saros. Nothing he could do about that goal at all. Nothing he could do about the goal that made it 1-1 when Brady Tkachuk, who I had as an anytime goal scorer yesterday, at plus 300. Yeah, me. Nothing he could do about that goal either. I was listening this morning on Sirius to the NHL channel, and I was shocked. They were like, well, you maybe want to pull UC Saros. I'm like, okay, he hasn't had the best year. But nothing we saw yesterday is on Saros. Nothing. The United States, as a roster, they are so much deeper than Finland.
Yeah, just took him a second to get clicking.
No offense to Eric Halla, okay? No offense to Eetu Luostarinen or Anton Lundell. Those are really good hockey players. If you are using players who are on a third line for their respective teams, well, it probably doesn't fit on a best on best. Now, granted, the Rangers have three centers who are playing. Mika Zibanejad for Sweden hasn't had a great year, but is their number one center. Vincent Trocheck, who is a second-line center for the Rangers, and JT Miller, who's playing third-line center, but really, if we're being honest, is probably better than Mika Zibanejad right now, should be their first-line center, regardless. Finland's lineup is a great NHL team. It's probably not a good enough team to win here, on top of the fact they have injuries on the blue line. So it was always going to be challenging for Finland to beat the United States. But until Matt Boldy's goal late in the second period, it's a 1-1 hockey game, and all you need is a fluke. And all of a sudden, there's all sorts of pressure on the U.S. But they got that goal. They got a power play goal 15 seconds into the third. They scored 11 seconds after that. They scored 3 minutes in. All of a sudden, it's 5-1, and we were done. We were done. Sweden and Canada was a hell of a game. Canada had a 3-1 lead going to the third period. Sweden scored twice to force overtime. And then Canada won it in overtime. Okay. I mean, Canada should. By the way, the overtimes, the NHL might learn something here. I hope they do. The overtime period, 3-on-3 overtime period in this tournament lasts for 10 minutes before we go to a shootout. Yes. Yes. I mean, I could see if the NHL said, yeah, let's do 8. Man, 3-on-3 creates so many scoring chances. I don't see how we don't get a goal.
Yeah.
If we play 8 minutes, even, you should get a goal within 8 minutes.
It would be fun to watch, too.
I mean, it's not that just that the Hurricanes lose them. I just think a shootout is a terrible way to give an extra point to somebody. I just think it's a terrible way to do that. I'd be in favor of, if you can't score in overtime, give each team 1 and be done with it. I think the shootout is a terrible way to decide a winner. Awful. Anyway, I would be all for extending overtimes. Let's move on. By the way, tomorrow, Sweden, Finland, 1 o'clock. Awesome. USA, Canada, 8 o'clock. Awesomer. Cannot wait. Jarvis versus Aho and Rantanen. By the way, was I the only Hurricanes fan wondering, I wonder if Mikko Rantanen will be any good without Nathan McKinnon? Now, I want to admit that those thoughts entered my brain.
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, he'll be fine. But it entered my brain.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's fair.
He wasn't good last night.
No.
Nor was Aho. So Aho was a little bit better, but not much. Aho at least created offense for others that was apparently rejected. All right, let's move on to basketball. ACC weekend is a big deal, right? You've got the Tar Heels are in Syracuse to take on the Orange. I mean, let's see how much longer we can drag on the illusion that UNC can get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Because I'm not ruling it out. So Carolina, I believe, has 7 games left in the regular season. If they were to win the 6 non-Duke games and still lose to Duke and finish 13-7 in the league, and then win a couple of games in the ACC tournament, I can see him scratching into the first 4. That win over UCLA in the pre-conference schedule and maybe getting a quad 1 win at the ACC tournament, at least it would give him something beyond the fact that it says North Carolina on their jerseys. Give him something for the committee to look at. It's still a TV show, the NCAA tournament. So I think Carolina's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's probably unlikely. But let's see how long they can keep the illusion going that they are an NCAA tournament team. Got to beat Syracuse on the road. NC State plays BC. I mean, it's just as simple as, if State loses this game, it's cemented that they won't be in the ACC tournament. Even if they win the game, it's still almost certain that they won't be, but there's no path forward. Mathematically, yes, but realistically, no, if they lose to Boston College. And what I said yesterday about NC State is 100% true. They either have to support the program financially, the NIL community, or they need to move on from Kevin Keatts. Because right now, the current way isn't working for anyone. We can get an endowment Maybe somebody can endow the head coaching job.
Maybe
Kevin Keats can do that to make sure he keeps it. Duke is home to Stanford, and the most important game of the day is Wake Forest at SMU. I mean, can't say it any plainer. Wake's got to get a good win. This would be a good win. Go get it, and then you don't have to beat Duke at the last week of the season to give yourself a good win, which they really don't have. So, time to do some work, Wake Forest. But if I had told you, you know what the Iron Bowl is, Alabama-Auburn football. If I had told you that Alabama-Auburn was going to be not only the best game of the weekend, but the game of the year in college basketball, you would have said, what are you talking about? But I got news for you. Alabama-Auburn is better than 1 versus 2. Because in the AP poll, Auburn is 1 and Alabama is 2. But it's really 1 versus 1. Because in the coaches poll, Alabama is 1. So you've got number 1 versus other number 1. And it's Alabama-Auburn. I got no problem with it. I've watched both teams play. They are absolutely national championship good. Carolina's played both. Right? Played both. I think they played Auburn and Maui. They played Alabama in the ACC, SEC not challenge, where the ACC won twice. Duke over Auburn, Clemson over Kentucky. That was it. Out of 16 games, really? But that is your 1 versus 2 matchup this weekend. Alabama-Auburn. Yesterday, both Reese Davis and Jay Billis were on, forget which shows, I guess it was Sports Center, and they both talked about the SEC being historically good. And they are. And I think that there could be as many as 13 teams from the league find their way into the NCAA tournament. And there's going to be some teams with woeful records in conference play that are going to get in to the NCAA tournament because it's going to be hard to penalize a team for losing games to teams that are going to be on the 1 line or the 2 line or the 3 line of the NCAA tournament. You're going to see so many SEC schools in the top 4 seeds. Right now, they have 3 of the 4 number 1 seeds. The other is Duke. I believe Alabama, Auburn, and Florida will be number 1 seeds. Tennessee is really good. There are a lot of good teams in the SEC. And I know how it's being viewed in a national sense that, well, it's all that SEC money. It was good last year. They had the money last year. Why haven't we seen the exact same thing with the Big Ten? It goes beyond the money. The money probably allows them to do some things they wouldn't already do. They aren't already doing, or they weren't already doing. But I don't think you could just say, well, they have the most money, therefore. I just don't think you could do that because they're not the only one with deep pockets. They have certainly hired well. Not always hired well for other leagues. I don't think there are many schools in the ACC that would have hired Bruce Pearl. I don't. But he was fine for Auburn. And you see what Auburn is getting out of it. If you asked me today who's going to win the national championship, that's who I'd say. Auburn. Anyway, it'll be interesting. Alabama-Auburn. The game of the day in college basketball tomorrow. The game of the day in college basketball yesterday was USC-UCLA. In women's basketball, Juju Watkins, who was a freshman last year for Southern Cal, had 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 blocked shots. UCLA lost for the first time all year. They were undefeated.
Yep.
An incredible performance. 8 blocked blocked shots.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Here's Juju on the win.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors that go into it, and them not only being such a great team and the number one team, they're also our rivals. So to be at home tonight and feel the love from the crowd, I think that gave us so much motivation.
So, interesting question, and we're going to talk about this on Monday. I'm giving you advance warning. Should the WNBA allow early entry for the women? You only have to stay 1 year to go to the NBA. But right now, you have to be 22, I believe, to qualify for the WNBA draft. 22 years old. Juju Watkins ain't 22 years old. So, interesting question that we will explore definitely on Monday. I have my thoughts on it, and I will tell you, if I were the WNBA, I'd say sure. But if I were these players, I would say, nah, I'm good. And I will explain why on Monday. All right, when we come back, Jake Delhomme, quarterback emeritus for your Carolina Panthers. Next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Caniacs, get ready for Iced Tea, a brand new podcast that gives you the behind-the-scenes stories from the Carolina Hurricanes. You watch the game back?
Yeah, all the time.
And are you hard on yourself?
Oh, God, yeah.
Any of the players ask for their crust off?
We do have one player that I cut the crust off, and I individually wrap it for him.
Your name is on the Stanley Cup.
It's the best trophy in sports.
Follow Iced Tea with Megan LaMontagne in any podcast app or watch the show on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And how about this? February is halfway over. That means March. Oh, the madness right around the corner. And by the way, happy Valentine's Day. So college basketball season is coming to an end. You want to get ready for it with FanDuel, and new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's right, $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 wager to new customers. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. FanDuel.com/AdamGold. Get in on the action before March takes over. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
This is what breaking news on WRAL sounds like.
A teenager accused of murder in custody tonight.
From the moments that matter.
Let's take a look at those live pictures right now from Sky 5.
When seconds count.
Authorities say they are very concerned for the safety of the public.
When your safety is the priority.
Breaking news right now, a large fire in eastern Wake County. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us.
Watch WRAL News. Breaking news coverage you can count on.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary, 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com. or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Gold.
Some of the best trades ever made are the ones you don't make. Again, I'm sure that there are tons of stories like that.
Kind of like a relationship. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that you didn't go out with. Like that person that you tried to, and then you see them 10 years later, and you're like, ooh, dodged a bullet.
So you sound like you've been there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. This is the Adam Gold Show. You dedicated the last bump that you controlled to Michael. We'll send this one to Aileen.
There you go.
Robert Plant can sing anything to her, and that's enough.
Right. Right. We've talked about the poster.
Yeah. The poster. This happens right in the bathroom. Gosh. I feel so inadequate every time I go to the salon.
That's a spot. That is definitely a spot.
I feel so inadequate as I'm washing my hands. There it is.
There it is,
like,
Robert.
I'm never going to do that. All right. Sea of Love. There you go. Happy Valentine's Day. I'd like to wish Jake Delhomme a happy Valentine's Day in a platonic way. Quarterback emeritus for your Carolina Panthers. Part of the radio team. You were down at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. First of all, as somebody who is a native of that state, how much fun was that for you to be there with everything going on around you?
Yeah, listen, it was extremely nice. I was down there on Thursday and Friday, and it was fantastic. You know, it had been a while. Maybe 2011 or 12. I can't recall the last time they had a Super Bowl. And
yeah.
I will say this, and I'm not saying this because I live a couple hours away. Just in talking to many of the players and a lot of the sports reporters and things like that, and I know my agents, a lot of the players that they have doing appearances and things, they think New Orleans is head and shoulders better than any other city to host. It's just so easy once you get down into the quarter, once you get down into that area. You don't need to rent a car or anything like that. Everything's within walking distance. The security was fantastic. The weather was great, and it was awesome. It was a good time. I know they had a huge turnout, and it was a huge success. And it seems like every NFL media personality, that's all they kept saying. It can't get back here soon enough. So it was nice, very nice.
I was there for the last time. It was the Ravens and the 49ers. The one thing I think that what came out of it, all the stuff I read, is just they need more hotel space, right? Because even the hotels in kind of, 15, 20 minutes outside of the city were going for, well over $1,000. So I just need some more hotel space so they can fit more people downtown, although I'm not sure you can fit more people.
I'm not sure how much more they could. Yeah, it's not like a Jacksonville situation or a Tampa situation where you had to bring in ships, cruise ships, and Tampa we had to stay in Orlando doing some things. But yeah, it's pretty darn nice. I will say that.
All right, let's get into the real reason I contacted you earlier this week, because Bryce Young was down there, and I had talked to Darren Gant, Panthers.com. We asked the old guy about how Bryce negotiated that. And he talked about made the analogy to the way he negotiated the season. And I remember listening to you, and I forget which game it was. It had been 3 or 4 games into the Bryce is now the quarterback. I don't think Dave Canales had declared him the quarterback at that point. He was just playing. But there was a game in which you said, this is progress. Those other games, it was okay, but it wasn't real progress. This was progress, and he got better from that point. So I want to get into your head, your quarterback brain about where you saw Bryce take the biggest strides forward.
I think for me the biggest one was he came back when Andy and the family got in the car wreck, and so Bryce came back and I think it was the Denver game.
Denver,
first game back. Yeah. Okay. So then we beat New Orleans at home the following week, and then the Panthers. We went to Germany and beat the Giants. And I thought he did well, did some good things, used his feet, did some good things. But then we had a bye, and I thought the Kansas City Chiefs game, maybe November 24th, somewhere around there, right before Thanksgiving, I thought he was special that day. I hadn't seen much of this before. There were times where he had to stand in the pocket and he had to take stare down the barrel of the gun, so to speak. And he had to stare down Chris Jones coming at him, stood in the pocket, took some big hits, got swallowed up a couple of times, and made anticipatory throws, accurate throws. And that was one that I know we lost last second of that game, but that was one that really showed me. And then the following week we played Tampa, and we missed 2 field goals. We fumbled the ball in overtime, which we should have won that football game. And then, again, you go the next week to Philadelphia, who we know how good Philadelphia, that team is. And to see us, we started out well, and then Philadelphia takes the lead, and we go on like a 98-yard drive.
Yep.
And there's a touchdown pass that's dropped with 40 seconds left. And just to watch him play, I just think after the bye, we had a couple of wins, and he played some good football, decent football, but I just thought it improved. It got better. And it seemed like the game slowed down. You saw a little bit more personality from him. You saw him run out the tunnel first with the team. And I just think that just comes from time. We don't give young kids time at all anymore. We want instant success. We want to put them in a microwave and make them be great right away. And it just doesn't make sense. It takes time. And I think that's what showed. And then, we played Dallas, and Dallas got after us pretty good. And then we come back the next week against Arizona, beat them in overtime, using his feet and his arms. And so he just played really well down the stretch. It ended up in Atlanta where he had 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and just the confidence factor. I think that's one of the things that really showed me. But it was the whole team in general. This team had nothing to play for. I don't remember the exact date when the team was mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but that was in November, and the team just kept playing and kept showing up weekly. So I just think that says something to the coach, but also the rest of the guys in the team, and certainly the quarterback, started out as rough as could be. And, he took coaching. He kept his mouth shut. He said all the right things. He worked hard. And lo and behold, the season ended well. And now there's optimism going into the offseason that this team's looking to move in the right direction.
Jake Delhomme is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show at JakeDelhomme_17 on Twitter. It says when we post this video in our podcast feed, it's going to say former Carolina Panthers quarterback. I would like to switch it to just say Carolina Panthers quarterback emeritus. I think that's a much better way of doing it. You're very present around the team, and I have a couple of more things I want to ask you, and we're going to get to optimism in a second, but the analogy you made about the microwave and how we want kids to be better, to be good right away, there is something very appropriate about using that as an amplifier, in that if you heat something up in a microwave, it doesn't stay hot as long. And not to mention it's uneven heat. But when you use the stove, it's even and it stays hot longer. That's been my experience about it. But I want to dig into the optimism. Because in your role as somebody on the broadcast, on the radio games, you've got to present some level of optimism. You're trying to sell Bryce Young to the fan base. But I'm curious if your opinion of what his future could be legitimately changed from year one, which wasn't as bad as the first 2 games in year 2, to the end of year 2, and now what do you think Bryce Young can be for this franchise?
Well, I mean, listen, we got to understand, he just finished year 2. We drafted him 1 overall in 2023. So when you're 1, you're not a good football team. Very simple. And we had to give up a number 1 wide receiver to be able to get him. And we had some injuries on the offensive line. We started 15 different combinations at the guard position in 2023. I don't care who it is. That's not healthy. That's not productive. You can't produce in that regard. And so, listen, we're going into year 3. There's still going to be some bumps in the road. This roster still has some holes that needs to be filled, and everyone knows that. Hopefully some people in their right mind understand that. But the team is going in the right direction. I think with the head coach and the general manager, they feel like, to me, they're in lockstep. They're moving in the right direction. Yeah, we need to probably get some defensive pieces in the free agency and in the draft, but there's still other holes throughout this football team that need to be filled. But the direction is going forward, and I think it helps knowing that, or seeing. I don't want to say knowing or what I believe. It's what I see and what I saw and what everyone saw. This young quarterback that we drafted 1 overall, there's some promise there, and he showed it the last 5 to 6 weeks of the season, and there's some promise going forward. And so if you can have someone like that, you just keep building the team around him and make the team better in the long run, and then you just kind of go from there. I mean, I think that's kind of the mindset you have to have. I think that's how you build it in the National Football League.
Jake Delhomme is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. We know they have a lot of holes on defense to fill. But give me a piece on offense that you would like to see them add.
Well, we have one tight end under contract right now. That's it. All we have is Jatavion Sanders, the rookie. So we're going to have to add someone there, whether it's a re-signing of Tommy Tremble or get someone in free agency or in the draft. I mean, that's always a position. I think you can always look for another type of wide receiver to help. We're going to have to probably have a running back to be able to back up Chuba Hubbard at some point, because Jonathan Brooks, it looks like he'll miss the whole season this year. So there's still some more pieces, and you can't have enough offensive linemen. You've got to be able to protect for the future. So, I mean, but right now, I mean, if you look at the way the roster is constructed, and we haven't started free agency yet, is that tight end. I think there's only one under contract right now.
Adam Thielen is a marvel, isn't he?
Love him. Glad to see that. He wants to come back. You know, there were some questions that if he would come back, and we interviewed him at the Super Bowl, and we asked the question right away. And he said, listen, the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season, I thought for certain that was it. He said, because it takes a lot. But he said, you know, the way we finished out the season and what I'm seeing, I want to help be a part of this turnaround, because he said it's coming. I can feel it. It's coming. So that was good to hear. He's such a, you know, Adam is just, with the young receivers that we have and his approach and how he prepares. But the biggest thing is watch him play. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a tenacity. He's got his chip on his shoulder, and he plays a certain way, and it's pretty impressive. And I'm glad to see him back.
Doesn't he sort of act as a pass catching tight end too? So yes, you need another tight end certainly as a blocker, and you need like 3 other tight ends, but the way Thielen operates in tight spaces, middle of the field, close to the line of scrimmage, he sort of acts like that possession tight end that Cam had in Greg Olsen when Cam was at his early in his Panthers career.
I think a lot of it is it's on, and I call them gotta have it down. It's on the third downs, the fourth downs. They gotta have it. When you gotta have this route, this completion, this catch for a first down to extend the drive. Adam shows up, and he's got to have it down. Now, I'm not going to call him Greg Olsen, because if you ever see Greg Olsen in person, that is a large man that was extremely fast, and he's a special player. You know, Adam's a very good size, but I think they still have that same mindset and mentality on got to have it down, really any down. I'm not saying just got to have it, but any down, like, hey, I'm open, I'm going to be open, and if I'm not, it's okay. I'm going to catch it, or I'll make the other person, have an interference, a holding, or something like that. It's the mindset that they have.
Greg Olsen is also, man, one of the all-time greats, and he's a dynamite broadcaster, as you are. Now, final thing, and I saved this for last for a reason, because I really don't know how comfortable you are talking about it, so I'm just going to ask, and if you don't want to talk about it, I will say thank you to Jake Delhomme, and I will wish you a happy Valentine's Day, and we'll be good. What went through your mind when you heard the Cam Newton comments about getting into the locker room? You were already gone in 2011.
Yeah, I heard that, and at first I was taken aback by it because I was like, well, that's not right. And then I heard kind of his explanation of it. And he talked about himself. He goes, listen, I went in that locker room. He goes, and we went, 6 games his first year or 7. He goes, and he called himself. He said, look, we were all losers. I mean, that's a mentality that you have as a player. I know I had as a player. If you weren't a team that made the playoffs, that was a losing season. I mean, that's the mentality. So I think we got to understand the context of what he meant by it, because he certainly didn't mean Steve Smith, Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil, Jonathan Stewart. I can go on and on some of the other players, D'Angelo Williams, James Anderson, Charles Godfrey. I mean, he didn't mean those guys. It's just the team had a losing record. And so, listen, we can look at words, however we want to say about it. It is what it is. I mean, his mindset was we didn't win. We didn't make the playoffs. And then he said it, the team that I quarterbacked the next year didn't make the playoffs either. So I fell in that category. And I'm glad they didn't make the playoffs his rookie year, and they picked where they picked because they picked Luke Kuechly. So I'm glad they didn't make it that year. We were able to get a rock star in Luke.
No question, a future Hall of Famer in Luke Kuechly, and who knows? I think Cam Newton is potentially a Hall of Famer as well. Jake Delhomme, I appreciate your time, sir. Love catching up. We'll do it again soon. Be well. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk down the road.
All right. Sounds good. I have a happy Valentine's Day, everyone out there. Take care.
Take care. Jake Delhomme, at Jake Delhomme _17 on Twitter. All right, so it is Valentine's Day, and I promised that we would spend some time. We might not get to all of these now, but we have other comments, other parts of the show to get to, in which I asked for people to write a poem, because there is nothing more romantic than poetry. A sonnet, if you will, about what you love about sports, or something that just moves you about sports. So let us start, and I put this out on both Twitter and Blue Sky, and we got responses on both, so this is good. And I will start with my friend Brad. Canes are good now, wow. Anyone who talks bad about Rod sucks. Learn the game. Thank you, Brad.
That's a good one, Brad.
Thank you, my man, Brad.
Yeah.
Brad and I, you know who Brad is, by the way.
Oh.
We'll leave him out of it.
Definitely love Brad.
Yes, Brad sends me texts and goes, "What are these people talking about?
What's your problem?"
All right, to Nick. You win or you lose, sometimes big and sometimes small. I love to gamble.
Now you can do it legally.
Now you can. Good for you, Nick. I'm on a 5-day winning streak.
Oh, look at you go. What are you going to do with yourself?
Touch me. I can buy dinner now.
Oh, yes.
I wager so little money, it's not funny. All right, let's see. We're going to start with Daniel. Tar Heel fan, this is not, I guess that was a high, we had a couple of haikus there. Tar Heel fans feeling the wrong kind of blue. Old Hubert's I'm sorry, that might have been Freudian. Old Hubert's dismal season just wouldn't do. The fans in despair did pull out their hair. Fire him was the echoing cue. That's a limerick. I wish I had read that in limerick cadence. My fault, Daniel. Very good. Gregory, little I've known has been so true as the differences between shades of blue. When mine own eyes look to the skies, I'm surprised to conceptualize a blue greater than you. But when I despair, it's always there. The shade of midnight's sullen fair, that blue is darkness too.
Wow. Okay. Edgar Allan Poe.
That took a turn.
I know.
That took a turn. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And we'll clear up the. We have more. I have a few more. We have a little bit of time here. This is also a haiku from my man Mike Solarte, who is until we give out the award, the reigning North Carolina Sportscaster of the Year. Now, Trip Tracy will become co-Sportscaster of the Year coming up in June. But Mike Solarte right now has the trophy. Repair your ball marks. Kindness never forgotten. Lip outs bewilder. I'm sorry, that's great for especially us weekend golfers. Come on! You hit so few greens. Can you at least stick the thing in the ground? Always makes me mad. For people, golfers who play once a week, once every 2 weeks, you should be thrilled. It is an honor to repair a ball mark because I hit 3 greens around.
Yeah. See, these are things I don't know as someone who doesn't golf, so now I know.
Come on! Make it part of your celebration, and then fix another one while you're there. All right. Brad commented on that, by the way.
Oh,
he said,
yes.
I felt this until 2023 and then decided to no longer play. All right. We'll do a couple more here. This is like my initial, I want to read what I sent out. Since today is a day to express love, nothing better than poetry. So give me a short poem, a haiku, a limerick, on something you love in sports. A game, a player, a coach, a feeling. Has to be something we can read in 15 seconds or less. Best one wins my heart, was how I tagged it. Aaron did not follow that last rule. But because she is passionate, I will read it. Because it is Valentine's Day.
Oh.
This is about hockey, her ode to the frozen pond.
Ooh.
Why do I love this silly game so much? I've only watched it half a dozen years. With sports in general, I've been out of touch, so why has this one captured all my cheers? What is it about men with bladed feet who wield stout stick weapons as they try to move a rubber disc along a sheet of ice that captivates my eye? Why have these weighty battles, these bold fights, spilled into wider interests now as well? Why am I up so late into these nights, scanning for stats and numbers? I can't tell. There's only one thing that I know for sure. Hockey is an addiction. There is no cure. That had a Dr. Seuss thing to it.
Did.
Again, if I had been maybe more prepared, I would have read through these and figured out I should read this like Fox and Socks.
Yes. Cat in the Hat. Green eggs and ham.
Like, on the low, Fox and Socks might be my favorite Dr. Seuss.
It's a good one.
Oh, my gosh. Yes. All right, and last one, we'll clear Twitter, unless I have more, but this will be the last one in this segment. We'll have time in about an hour. From Caniac Joker. And I'm going to read this, not because I want to read it, but because he put effort into it. And if you gave me one that was readable on the radio, I was going to read it. I'm not going to ask. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to do effort to make an effort and then not reward that effort.
Sure.
And you'll, as I start reading this, you'll understand I am uncomfortable reading this. Okay. Adam Gold with wisdom bright. Your sports takes sharp, your judgment right. I'm blushing. Though hair may flee, thank you. Your brilliance stays. Gosh, a beacon strong in endless plays. With passion fierce, your words ignite. No stat ignored, no trend unseen. Your mind's the sharpest on the scene.
Did Aileen write this?
Sorry. Caniac Joker 2 on Twitter.
2, not 1. There was already 1. So 2.
I apologize. But hey, as I said, if you made the effort, I was going to read it. And we will have more poems of love to the sports we love, or to the hosts that have somehow indoctrinated us. In less than an hour. I promise. It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam. That is Victoria. We will stretch and place bets. I am on a 5-game heater. Stay tuned. Next.
Questioning goalie interference calls since day one. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's that time of year when we gear up to cheer on our favorite team. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on the team you love the most. by getting your flu and COVID vaccines. They are safe and effective. Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against new virus strains spreading this fall and winter. So make sure you don't miss the big game and you protect those around you. Ask your healthcare provider about updated flu and COVID-19 shots.
Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Electricity. It's what powers our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. In North Carolina, 26 local electric cooperatives provide energy to 2.8 million people across the state. But we're providing so much more than affordable, reliable power. We're helping to strengthen the people and communities that make our state great, today and for generations to come. North Carolina's electric cooperatives. Power you can count on, now and always. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com.
It's okay not to be okay. Feelings of loneliness, anger, and worry are completely normal, and you're not alone. If you need help coping, call, text, or chat the free 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Someone is always there to talk, day or night. Together, we will find the care that works for you. Just call, text, or chat 988 anytime to talk to a trained counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to other resources that can help. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
If you need health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Terrence and Jody when they got married, and Sophia when she had a baby, and Gary when he moved and needed new insurance. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit, investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
As fall championships begin, the Governor's Highway Safety Program would like to remind you to buckle your seatbelt when traveling home from today's events. Whether you're driving out of town or across town this holiday season, wearing a seatbelt is your best defense against injury or death in a crash. During the busiest time of travel, prioritize your safety and buckle up. Every seat, every time. And remember, click it or ticket. It's the law. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association and the Governor's Highway Safety Program.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Was the hug because of the soft, fuzzy thing you're wearing?
It's a comment. I'm a great hugger. People like to hug me. But yes, it's helpful when I'm soft and fuzzy.
Is that a skill?
It may be, yes.
I think it is a skill.
I think it is a skill.
Yeah.
You know who else gives really great hugs? Mike Meniscalco.
Really?
He is one of my favorite huggers. Yes. Every time I see him, he gives the best hugs.
I'm going to try that at the next home game.
Do it.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria, on the Valentine's Day wax, Van Morrison's cover of My Funny Valentine comes from one of my favorite live concert CDs, Van Morrison's A Night in San Francisco, which is just incredible. And this comes right after Moondance, so just a dynamite back-to-back. Not that I don't get anything from it, but it's a great album. Van Morrison is just...
Yeah, it's just good to know.
Yeah, Van Morrison hits a certain type of way. Yeah. All right, we're going to place bets in a minute, and I'm going to invite you to get on the train because we've been winning. But right now we're stretching.
Exactly. I know. Well, it's a good train to be on. And if you are on the late train, though, to getting your Valentine's Day gift, well, here's some last-minute gift ideas. So these are all just from an article that's recommending it. I can tell you as a female, if it's a guy doing last-minute shopping, then these are awesome. And my favorite is number 5. But number 1, they say buy a card. I would like to add that if you're buying your lady or even your guy just a card, maybe put like a gift card in there.
Okay.
Like to their favorite spot. It could be a restaurant or something.
Okay.
But yeah, who knows? Of course, Flowers Chocolates. We've already established Wegmans is like great for that if you need to go there.
I got a dozen yellow roses for Aileen.
Nice, her
I love yellow roses.
Aw.
And I'm not even from Texas.
Yeah. This one, I like this one. You could do a spa or a golf package, they say, or like a treat yourself experience. Maybe get your nails done or something like that. That's always a good option. Now, here's my favorite. Number 5 is concert tickets, because who doesn't like to go to live events? Well, maybe not everybody, but yeah, that's always a great option. You could make dinner at home if you don't want to go out in the hustle and bustle. That's always a good one. Subscription boxes. That's an option. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just go online. And then jewelry. You know, you can't go wrong with jewelry. You could go wrong with jewelry in case someone doesn't like, in case someone likes a certain color of something or whatever. Yeah. But these are all last minute gift ideas. Just make it thoughtful. That's my main thing. Coming from, trying to give advice, just be thoughtful. That's really what counts. And women pick up on that. You know what else we should pick up on? Some good bits.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you one.
All right, so last night, I already told the story. I had the United States minus a goal and a half, over 6.5 against Finland. Needed that third period. Also had Brady Tkachuk as an anytime goal scorer. Had some others, but I said U.S. is going to beat Finland. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to get the value up. I went really -2, but I went to -1.5 and parlayed it. So it was a good, profitable night.
Well, there you go.
Not a lot. I can buy lunch. All right, Victoria, you go first.
Okay, so there is going to be UFC tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
There's also 4 Nations, but it's a UFC fight night. So looking at the Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez, I am going to have to go with Gregory Rodriguez, and both of these guys are super tough, so I could see it going the distance. So give me Gregory by the points. That's plus 470.
All right. I'll give you both 4 Nations face-off games right now. Sweden over Finland. Under 5.5. If you want to juice the action a little bit more, you can go Sweden -1.5. I see a 3-1 win, but I'm just going to go Sweden to win under 5.5. That's plus 180. Canada over the United States, over 6.5 goals. I think it's going overtime. If you want to juice it, you really go, knock it up over 1,300. But it's plus 270. Canada to win over 6.5.
Ooh, okay. Well, looking at the Finland and Sweden game, I am going to take Sweden, and I'm going to take the over 5.5, and just that alone is 165, plus 165.
All right. Now, I've been fairly good on Premier League soccer, and I'm trying to give you one, but I've got 3 plays I like. Newcastle away to Manchester City. Magpies going to win that one, plus 250. City in the bin.
From the heels,
Touchdown, Carolina.
to the canes.
She scores!
He covers it all. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
If Super Bowl 59 shows us anything, it shows that defense wins championships. That tried and true saying, defense wins championships. And if you're the Carolina Panthers, this is something you have to devote this offseason to fixing. Draft picks, free agency. You have to strengthen up that side of the football. You have to be great on defense in order to win.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Bonuses used to be everywhere. Boxes of cereal, a baker's dozen, airline upgrades, even without quadruple diamond platinum status. Life is better with the bonus. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery is adding bonus chances to multiply your win on Multiply the Cash scratch-offs. More chances than ever to win over $140 million in total prizes. Because everything is better with a bonus. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.31 to 4.86. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds this weekend at the Car Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale this weekend at the Car Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission and parking.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
HIV is not a crime, or it shouldn't be.
It's time for the laws to catch up to science.
Join the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation to modernize outdated HIV criminalization laws. Go to etaf.org. Campaign funded through the support of Gilead Sciences Incorporated.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now save 50% on the new Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed. Plus free home delivery. Ends President's Day. Exclusively to Sleep Number store near you. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
In order to get to the Final Four even, you're probably going to have to go through a couple of tough SEC teams. They're just that strong. So young teams in the one-and-done era don't win championships. You know, that's sort of the thing. Only a handful have actually done. Only 2 have actually done it, really. It's rare for young guys to lead their respective teams to championships. So I think that, to me, is probably the biggest factor going against Duke, is that it's just hard to win at that level with youth.
Not all youth is created the same. If you have the right youth, sprinkled amongst the right veterans, And Duke has both of those. What might hold them back is while they are excellent at every position, they do lack a little bit of explosive athleticism on the wings. Whether it's Proctor or Knipple, Sion James is a tremendous athlete, but I don't think he's got explosion, really. Isaiah Evans is more shooter than driver. I think some of the teams they're going to deal with as you get further and further into the tournament probably have a little bit more there. But they got the best player. Sometimes the best player is enough. We'll see. Roundtable coming up in about 15 minutes. Our friends Will Palaszczuk from the voice of of Charlotte FC, as well as a lot of other things that he does, and Mike Felder.
Yeah.
It's a Charlotte-centric.
You know what? I didn't even think about this when I asked him, but we'll have to ask what he's making for Valentine's because his menu's going to be spot on.
Yes, maybe we'll bring that up. We've got Will and Mike coming up in less than 15 minutes in the roundtable. All right, we should wall of sound this thing.
The wall of sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
All right, let's actually start with the NFL here a little bit. Because it was, I think, pretty big news yesterday that officially the Jets have told Aaron Rodgers to go pound sand. They're not interested in year 3 with Aaron Rodgers. They want to move on. And remember, I pointed out yesterday that Aaron Glenn, the new head coach, had told Rodgers in a meeting with the general manager and I believe Woody Johnson, the owner, that they would be more than willing to have Aaron come back if he met these certain demands. This has been reported. That he would be fully invested in the offseason, workouts, OTAs, minicamp, training camp. Remember last year, he left training camp for a week to go to Egypt. Lovely trip.
Yes.
Training camp probably, I'm going to say this without knowing, never having gone through a training camp, probably didn't surprise him on the calendar.
No.
Probably not.
Yes.
He's been through those before. And I don't think that Aaron is like, well, I can't use my frequent flyer miles to fly to Cairo this week because of restrictions. So next week is when I have to go. And it just happens to coincide with training camp.
Oops.
Please.
Sorry.
So, also he had to stop doing Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
Again, this is all according to what has been reported.
What an ask.
Anyway, so where does Aaron Rodgers go now? In some places you can bet on this, and the even money favorite is the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see. Michelle Smallman from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio doesn't see any place.
They gave you all of this. They paid you. They paid your friends. They brought in your offensive coordinator that you won 2 MVPs with. They remortgaged their future from a picks perspective in order to make sure that they could get you and everything you wanted. And you couldn't give them the few things that they asked for in return? Or that wasn't appealing enough for you? It just makes me think, what organization is going to want to sign up for this? A guy who's entering his age 42 season, who this organization gave all this up for, and it resulted in 5 wins. I don't know if he's going to be able to find a spot in the NFL. I wonder if the jig is up, and this is the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers on a football field.
All right, so I do think the jig is up. I think Michelle Smallman is right. I don't see him as a fit in Pittsburgh at all. I don't believe that Mike Tomlin would put up with the Aaron Rodgers I can't even come up with a word. I don't want to use the word shenanigans. That might be accurate. I don't know. It seems so negative. Aaron Rodgers comes with a set of issues. I don't think Mike Tomlin wants to deal with that. So I don't see that. I also think that if you watch, there are times where Aaron Rodgers looks great. And this is all within a game, by the way. And there are times where Aaron Rodgers looks totally washed.
Yeah, it could even be play-by-play. One play is great,
right.
Next play is not.
So I just don't think that there is another team that is going to trust Aaron Rodgers to win. The only teams that would sign Rodgers are those that believe that, man, if we just had competency at quarterback, we could win. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Or we got to sell tickets. So I could see him with the Raiders because I think the Raiders are bad. Evan Cohen said something else about the Jets, the team that Aaron Rodgers is leaving behind.
This is the worst second act amongst a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback over the last 20-some-odd years in the NFL. He was worse at doing the Brady with the Bucs, Manning with the Broncos, than anyone else was. It was awful. The Jets were better before he got there than they are right now, which is just unbelievable to think about.
That is true. That is absolutely true. The Jets were better the year before Rodgers got there. Now, in fairness to Aaron, if he doesn't get hurt, if he doesn't tear his Achilles 4 plays into year one with the Jets, I think that team could have been different. If he doesn't get hurt, I think that team could have been different. But that's not what happened, and we saw this year they were markedly worse. Markedly worse. All right, now to the set of ACC Network as we get ready for an ACC weekend ahead, and that will come up, by the way, in our roundtable. Michael Carter-Williams, former Syracuse star. Luke Hancock, former Louisville star, a national champion, on Cooper Flagg's transition from high school to college.
I just think he's such a stat sheet stuffer. You look at it every night. Yes, there's points, but it's rebounds, it's assist numbers, it's block shots, it's steals. And Mike and I are sitting there watching and just talking about how aware he is, his instincts on the defensive end. He seems to be covering for everybody out there and just making them that elite defensive unit.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he's always in the right place at the right time. And you combine that with, his natural talent and his ability of this game. I mean, it's almost unfair out there. On the defensive end, on the backside, he's in great position every single trip. Doing what coach implements every single day.
Winning habits, big time with Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg can do it all. Can you be a stat sheet stuffer? Which is, I'm trying to figure out who coined that phrase. I believe that is a Clark Kelloggism. Does that really matter? I don't know that the fact that he does so many things matters. It's going to help him win all of the National Player of the Year honors. He leads Duke in every meaningful category. All of them. So it's going to win him National Player of the Years. How does that impact winning at the in March, in April? Getting to April. That we don't know. As good as Cooper Flagg is, I think Duke's ultimate result this season will depend on players who are not named Cooper Flagg. It will depend on Tyrese Proctor, Sion James, Con Knipple, Common Malawach. Guys coming off the bench, Malik Brown, Isaiah Evans. It's going to depend on those types of players where Duke's season ends. It might end on the final Monday night with a celebration. They are good enough to win it. It might end in the Sweet 16. So, But I think it's going to be determined by the other players, not by Cooper Flagg. All right, when we come back, in the Roundtable, we'll talk a little Cam. We'll talk a little Super Bowl, coming out of the Super Bowl, Triangle Hoops, Hornets. We got so much stuff. Will Palaszczuk, Mike Felder, in the Roundtable. Next.
Talking sports so you don't have to pretend to know stuff. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The Pack Therapy Podcast is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. Tim Donnelly here, host of The Drive, alongside Wolfpack legend Casey Morsell.
Every episode is your chance to score inside information on the Pack.
We'll set you up for Wolfpack games all season long.
And we break down the ACC competition, what to watch for as we roll towards the tournament madness.
Plus special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcast or watch on YouTube.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And it's All-Star Weekend in the NBA, so you should have an all-star FanDuel experience with America's #1 sports book. FanDuel's your home for NBA live betting, so enjoy the All-Star game. Pick your favorite All-Star, see how many points he's going to score maybe in the third quarter. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. And remember that new customers can get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet hits. Pretty good. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Lowe's knows how to help you get the most out of your store run. That's why members save more with MyLowe's Rewards. Earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases. Get access to member-only deals and free member gifts. Plus, unlock free standard shipping when you reach Silver Key status. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
Hello, Creighton Blackwell here from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan. Tonight we are at Green Level High School, and we're here to celebrate the newest Scholar Athlete of the Month, Lexi Taylor.
My family is definitely like my biggest support through everything. My sister and my parents both support me through my hardest days and my best days, and they're always there to support me.
Lexi's a phenomenal athlete, comfortable with whatever you ask her to do. She's strong, she's poised, she doesn't get flustered easily.
And she's just like grown up so much as like a captain and a teammate, and she's been a captain now for 2 years, and I really just think she's been like such a great help to our team.
Well, I've been cheering with her since 7th grade and we're seniors now, so I've kind of like watched Lexi like grow up, I feel like, and she's like done the same with me. So I've like seen her like step into a leadership role, and I feel like she's just always super encouraging and keeps a positive attitude.
It means a lot to me to just be able to be recognized in such like a wide area with so many amazing athletes. So I just feel great to like feel like someone's like seeing all the hard work that I've been putting into my sport and my academics. So I'm very grateful for it.
Congratulations, Lexi.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. The insurance company wants to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers are riders too, so we understand what your bike and gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation is always free, and we don't get paid until your case settles. Call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Smile Train has helped millions of kids with clefts. Learn more at smiletrain.org/learn.
One Adam Gold. One Adam Gold.
Was the hug because of the soft, fuzzy thing you're wearing?
It's a compliment. I'm a great hugger. People like to hug me. So, but yes, it's helpful when I'm soft and fuzzy.
Is that a skill?
It may be, yes.
I think it is a skill.
I think it is a skill.
Yeah.
You know who else gives really great hugs? Mike Meniscalco.
Really?
He is one of my favorite huggers. Yes. Every time I see him, he gives the best hugs.
I'm going to try that at the next home game.
Do it.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Happy Valentine's Day to all. Especially if you are celebrating, if you have a Valentine. You have love in your heart. Always good.
Yes, it's a great day to hug people.
It is a great day to hug people. I have not yet hugged Mike Maniscalco.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
One of these days.
One day. One day it's on my bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I have a lot of people I would like to hug, usually a bro hug, and that's fine, and that will come up in the roundtable.
Camelot. It's only a model.
All right, let's do it. I know we're still waiting on our contestant number 2. But for contestant number 1, we have the one and only Will Palaszczuk, who is the voice of Charlotte FC, new kits, new co-host. Look, we're going to get into your new co-host here in a second. I'll let you sell the virtues of, Anna Whitty, right?
Yes.
So it was a Cary native, so from up in these parts. But I got to tell you, I'm going to have Jessica Charman FOMO.
I understand. And believe me, I'm a Miss Jess, but I have to say we were able to put in her place somebody who I think is going to be really exciting listen. The fact that it's somebody who is local, I think, also very much helps as well.
Yeah.
You mentioned she's from Cary. She played at Penn State. She's got a lot of experience in the soccer world. She's covered NWSL, USL on the men's and women's side, also college in both realms as well. So incredibly polished, incredibly exciting, and married a Navy man too. So you're talking about Valentine's too. So that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
There's a lot to like with Anna, and we did a mock game earlier this preseason, and I think fans who listen on our various affiliates across both states and up in Virginia are going to be very, very happy with what they hear.
All right, let me ask you a couple of things before we hook up with Mike Felder,
Sure.
because there's some very exciting things with CFC that go beyond the new kits, which are sweet. But Wilfried Zaha comes over from, he was playing last year, I believe, in the Turkish League. I became familiar with him from his days at Crystal Palace. A dynamite, dynamic, attacking mid-wing player like that who can certainly create goals. And I'm going to get his name wrong. Patrick, you can finish.
Ajiman.
Exactly, that guy.
Yeah.
Who did very well for the men's national team during a time where there was no international window. So the first team wasn't back, but he certainly made his mark. You still have Tim Ream from last year, or I assume it's Tim Ream. I don't know.
You do.
Yeah,
we do.
So talk to me about the excitement of year 2 of Dean Smith. And it all starts, when? Next week, right?
Week from tomorrow, actually, Adam. And listen, when you think about the way last year ended, it was very disappointing, but they came a long way. They went and made it to 5th place in the Eastern Conference, right. And they return a lot of players from that group, including the best defense in the league, the goalkeeper of the year, and Christian Kalina. You mentioned Tim Ream, who they added late in the season a year ago. He's back and ready to roll. They're relatively healthy coming out of the preseason right now as well. And you mentioned the big sparkling signing. I would go so far as to say it's the signing of the transfer window of anybody who's made in terms of MLS teams. I know that Atlanta spent some big money. They brought back Miggy Almiron. I understand that there are a lot of excitement for him, but I don't think there's a player who has got a higher level of repute and in a higher league that has been brought in by a team this window than what Charlotte FC has done with Wilfried Zaha. 68 Premier League goals. You mentioned his time at Galatasaray and then subsequently Lyon in France.
Okay.
Wasn't exactly what he wanted. There was some mitigating circumstances out of his control that were a part of that as well. But the fact of the matter remains, he still believes he's the same player. He's come in with a renewed sense of purpose and also just a buy-in from what head coach Dean Smith told us earlier in the week, that he's going to make this relationship collaborative. He looks great on the pitch. He's had a couple of great dynamite assists to Patrick Agyeman as well during the preseason. And you mentioned Agyeman being very much on his game. 2 goals in 2 games for the U.S. men.
Mm-hmm.
He's somebody who you look at and say can be a real ascending star with this club, on a club that feels like they have some unfinished business at hand.
Should be a lot of fun. So what, a week from tomorrow, next Saturday, it all starts.
10:30 in Seattle.
Ooh. Oh, very nice. A little late night CFC action.
4 games off the bat against playoff opponents from a year ago. Seattle, Atlanta, as well as Miami and Cincinnati, all in a row there. 2 home, 2 away. Should be a very, probably the most ambitious start they've had in their 4 years.
All right, let's. We'll hook up with Anna Whitty down the road.
Please.
Let's. Your thoughts on the Cam Newton walked into a locker room full of losers comment.
So I've had a complicated relationship when it comes to talking about Cam Newton, because when they were doing the whole Cam redo part 2 scenario, I was very much a denier of, number one, its feasibility, and number one, whether it was going to be a boon. And that made me a pariah in Charlotte because, how could you say that about Cam Newton?
Right.
He was the savior. He was this and that here and there. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't buy the shoulder. It turned out I was a prophet on that.
Right.
I don't like to parade that around and say Willie was right, but it happened. And I wasn't here in 2015, so I'm not that I don't appreciate what he did for that group, but I don't have the emotional attachment that people had who were here longer than me. So when I see what he said to Travis Hunter, and then when I see his basically refusal to walk it back, it makes me wonder if what the stuff that people who are Cam detractors say about him isn't just born in, we don't like him because he's this and that. It's more based on the fact that it's an attitude thing. And look, I feel like Cam said some things semantically that could be correct, but he said them in a way that he usually does that really is ignorant of people's feelings and ignorant of really anything other than his own, the way that he looks. And that's the part of it that I think makes people who don't like Cam not like him. I think if you didn't like Cam, your mind was not changed by the comments.
Right.
If you do like Cam, I think you're disappointed. As far as I'm concerned, look, I understand what he was trying to say. He probably could have said it in a more delicate fashion, but we know that's not Cam.
No. Yeah, look, my take on it was I'm pretty sure he's not when he's saying these things, he's not thinking about Steve Smith.
No,
and
absolutely
not. And Charles Johnson and some of the Jonathan Stewarts. And Jonathan Stewart actually had a pretty good comment on his podcast about it. He's not thinking about those guys.
No.
In subsequent comments, he said he also puts himself into that category.
Sure. And again, it's more about culture, Adam. I think it's not necessarily about individual players. And I think, again, there are a lot of times when you are a number 1 draft pick that you are walking into a room where you have to change the culture. And I think 2010 was very much that vein. I'm not saying it wasn't, but I think what he was trying to impart upon Travis Hunter is that you are not in the kind of position that I was in, I being Cam, where I play the quarterback position. I can have a maximum amount of impact on a team.
Correct.
Coming into a winning and losing, or turning into a losing culture and a winning culture. You're playing either corner or wide receiver. The impact you're going to make at that level is minimal. So it almost feels like what he was trying to say to Travis Hunter is that you almost feel like you're set up to fail if you're a non-quarterback going into a team being picked number 1 overall, and I think he's right there.
Oh, I think the bigger picture about that, yes. The stuff we've been talking about, that's the more personal connection to the Panthers. And I will just say this. I was not a Cam fan. I actually thought they shouldn't draft him. I was that guy. I was wrong because Cam Newton is, to me, a borderline Hall of Fame football player. total game changer.
And I loved Cam the player. I was a big fan of Cam the player.
So, but when they brought him back, you saw what he meant to the city. Because I'm with you. I said it when he was in New England. Like, he can't throw anymore. Why are we doing this?
He was washed, Adam. He was completely washed.
It took too much effort. You can see at the end of his days at Carolina, it took too much effort to deliver the football. He couldn't do it on a consistent basis. But the other things he could do, the aura, the presence that he had, those were obvious. And, man, the fans were just looking to hang on to anything. But it was never going to continue. It was never going to. It could not last. All right, let me move on to the Hornets for you. Will Palaszczuk, post game Hornets, right? I get the you have so many.
Me.
You wear so many hats. You're wearing a hat right now. That's the new For the Crown.
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful. So, did the Lakers present a receipt for Mark Williams? And the Hornets are saying, I'm sorry, there are no returns because you purchased it too close to the trade deadline. So they're disputing it. What's going on here? How long is it going to take to resolve this?
Well, I think we should have some sort of resolution during the All-Star break because it just so happens, Adam, that the first game after the All-Star break for the Hornets just happens to be against the Lakers as one of the makeup games coming back from the Orange County Fires. Here's my problem with all of this. It's one thing to say Mark Williams failed the physical. It's another thing to have had the full trade consummated, fully announced, and all signed, sealed, and delivered. Players changed hands. Dalton Connect was literally here in the building at the Spectrum Center when we were trying to see, whether or not he was going to debut or play, and they were all just kind of in this limbo. And then all of a sudden the Lakers come out and said, yeah, we're done. So you mentioned the analogy of bringing the receipt. In the Hornets' opinion, they brought the receipt too late, and I also don't feel like they you remember that episode of Seinfeld where where Jerry tried to return the jacket for spite? That's kind of where they're at. So from that perspective, again, look, I'm not going to sit here and deny that there probably weren't things on Mark Williams' physical that were somewhat sus, as the kids say.
Nice.
But the thing I keep coming back to is that their doctors are quoted directly, and Rob Pelinka, I think it's Rob Pelinka through their doctors, are quoted saying, hey, yeah, we know Mark's a bit of an injury risk, but we believe in his long-term future and his long-term viability. You can't have it both ways, Rob. And it just so happens, this happens to be the Lakers, and I know that they have been on the wrong side of a rescinded trade in the past. That was when David Stern was judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
But we know that this new commissioner does not ever seek to strive to at least have any opportunity to help LeBron and the Lakers keep their prominence. I mean, they let a trade for Luka Doncic go forward here a week and a half ago. So from that perspective, I hope this gets resolved in a way where Mark's able to play for the Lakers, the Hornets get Dalton Connect, maybe the pick compensation's not the same or not identical to what it was, but they've created a very awkward situation for the player part involved. And also they've kind of sullied the name of Jeff Peterson a little bit, and I think what they're trying to do right now is keep the good name alive for future deals and future conquests.
So wasn't Mark Williams playing at the time? How can you play?
He played the night of the trade
and fail a physical? Well, I don't even get that.
Well, and I've heard people mention this. I think it was Brian Windhorst or Bobby Marks, one of the two gentlemen who covers the league for ESPN, said something to the effect of, failing a physical does not mean that you aren't able to play.
Right.
They said something to the effect of Joel Embiid would probably have a problem passing his physical right now with all the stuff that's going on with his body. So, again, the problem is this is all in the hands of doctors, and as we know about doctors, they all have opinions. Right. And maybe the Lakers' opinions about Mark's readiness to play and his future prognosis is different than the way the Hornets felt about him. But, again, I think this could be a scenario where all parties could be right, and I guess my biggest problem with the Lakers is they came at it too late, and the fact that the NBA doesn't have a mechanism alive to try to amend this so that the actual people involved aren't basically faced and beset with a bit of awkwardness. And I think Mark, too, I'm surprised, shocked that we have not heard from the Players Association for literally dragging Mark's name through the mud and sullying the reputation of one of their own players and clients, because that's the part I think that's the saddest part about all of this.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. There's also a human side. Like, you got two guys that, am I wanted? Am I not wanted? It's
being traded is like it's the second worst thing you could possibly have when you are in sports. The other one is just being outright released / fired. And as someone who's been fired in radio, I wouldn't wish that feeling upon anybody. The fact is, you got now a situation where you got two guys who are sitting there in basically relative limbo. I know Connect played the other night for the Lakers, but that's basically the Lakers saying, na boo boo, we feel like we're in the right until the league tells us otherwise.
All right, let me get to one more thing before we say goodbye to Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style on Twitter. Which of the two state universities here in North Carolina are in a worse spot in basketball? UNC or NC State?
So I don't think UNC is in as bad a position as NC State, only because I think that they will, if they decide to move on from Hubert Davis, they will have the ability to try and turn things around. They'll have a better berth, a wider berth to be able to turn it around, whereas NC State, I think, is in a bit of a crisis of confidence because they have to make the determination about, is the 3-week run of Kevin Keats reality, or is what we've seen over the last year and what we saw leading up to the ACC tournament run set in reality? I think they'll probably have a harder time trying to find the coach. I think we've heard from people with North Carolina who at least have a desire for it to change, but you know as well as I do, Adam, that there are conflicting power brokers that always kind of talk about the Carolina way and how it all can fit together. I know the entire group doesn't necessarily like the way things are currently from a results standpoint, but I feel like State is probably worse off in the point right now, but I know North Carolina fans feel like this is incredibly unacceptable for where the program has been and where they expect it to be.
I think if you had said push, I don't think it would be an incorrect answer because North Carolina is staring down, and it's not the possibility.
I didn't realize push was an answer, Adam.
You
That's
can do
the
whatever
only
you
thing
that's
I would
fine.
say.
I appreciate you giving me one or the other. But the truth is that UNC is about to miss the NCAA tournament for the second time in 3 years.
Unthinkable.
Right? Their final, like, you can make an argument that the Final Four run 4 years ago and NC State's Final Four run last year have some similarities. Not the same thing. North Carolina, prior to their win over Duke on the ultimate senior night, the best way to ever talk about Coach K's last game at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Sure.
I mean, and then the Final Four. Prior to that, they were a bubble team.
They would have needed some help.
Right?
They would have needed
they would have gotten
a good
in.
showing.
They would have gotten in. But even with that win over Duke, and they won a handful of games going into that game, but even with that win, they were still on the 8 line. So it wasn't like they were a 4 seed or a 3 seed. They were a borderline NCAA tournament team. They got in. And they deserved to get in. Even if they didn't beat Duke, I still think they would have gotten in. But they would have gotten in just by a little. But that win over Duke took them to another level. And then they got hot. So that run was, in a lot of ways, similar to NC State's run. They were 17-14 when they showed up at the ACC tournament and then proceeded to win 9 of 10. 9 of 10? That is insane to do stuff like that. And they wouldn't have made the NCAA tournament. They would have only been like a 3 seed in the NIT if they had gotten a bid to the NIT. So I don't know. I think there's a crossroads for both. I mean, Hubert Davis is going to be back next year, but that it has to get better next year. I don't know
it
about
could be
Kevin
something
Keith.
as simple as changing everything around him as opposed to just changing him. Because I agree with you. Changing him, I don't think does anything if you're not going to put the money in the NIL, hire
Absolutely.
a general manager, do the things that these, I don't want to say newer age, but people who have adapted better to the system around them do those types of things that North Carolina has been reticent to do.
No question about it. All right, sir. I appreciate your time. Good luck this season. I know we will be in touch. And go Charlotte FC. That's a great lid.
We got to get you back down for a game, Adam.
I have to come to a game. I definitely want to see one. My son would actually
make it
like it
happen.
too. We will. I thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Always good to see you.
All right, Willie. That's Will Palaszczuk at Willie P Style on Twitter. He's got so many hats, and he's wearing one right there. Mike Felder is. We have Mike was doing Valentine's.
Yeah, I actually have Michael here. So he's just busy, He had some Valentine's things to square away.
So, all right. Well, we have to keep this very short, sir. Are you okay? Are you ready for
good.
Valentine's Day?
I'm ready for Valentine's Day. I apologize to you. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I didn't have my headphones in because I was trying to charge them because I have to go have drinks with my dad, which means I have to make all the Valentine's stuff early to make sure that when I get home from going to see my dad and his best friend and his best friend's kid who's touring UNCC.
Ooh.
I have to make sure that dinner is ready so that my wife and I can have dinner.
I totally understand. So I'm going to ask you one question. I've got like 2.5 minutes.
Okay.
Are you?
We can pack a lot in there.
I know. Tell me your level of buy-in to UNC football and Bill Belichick and Mike Lombardi right now. Okay. 0?
I mean, if it works, it works. I'm rooting for it to work. I just don't. I'm not a true believer.
Okay.
I'm not Stan Lee over here. True believer.
Well, I have said that I think it's one of the great experiments we've ever seen, and there's going to be more attention paid to University of North Carolina football than there has ever been before. And I think it will be the story of the season.
I don't think you're right about that.
Really?
Dude, there was a time where UNC had 3 guys drafted in the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, I know.
So there's more attention paid to that. And so unless he can do that.
Was that at the start of the season, though? I think the attention on UNC football starts week 1 against TCU in prime time.
LSU 2010.
What I'm talking about at UNC, not other schools.
Yeah. I'm saying when UNC played LSU in 2010 with Marvin Austin, with TJ Yates, that team with a bunch of guys, Hakeem Nicks, that team, to me, that was the most attention played period. And that was the team. Now, if we want to talk about the coaching situation, I agree with you.
Right, but my point is that for the entirety of the season, whether Carolina is good or not, there is going to be a spotlight on them every single week because there's a lot of people that don't believe it's going to work.
Yeah, you're talking to one of them. So, yeah.
Hey, look, and as I've said before, the chances that people like you are going to be right are way more than the people who run the program think it will work. I think I say there's a 75% chance, maybe higher, that the people who think this was a bad idea are going to be right. But if it's right, I think it could be awesome, and I think it's going to start maybe, I don't know, start is the right word. I think start because it's going to be run differently. I think it's going to start something that we're going to see all over college sports.
I don't mind being wrong. I want to be wrong. I just am skeptical, especially talking to people that work with Belichick, talking to teammates that have worked with Belichick, talking to coworkers that have worked with Belichick. This is going to be very interesting, so we'll see what happens. I'm skeptical, but you know what? There's nothing, you've got kids.
Yep.
You don't think your kid's ready to ride a bike, and then they get on that bike, and they take off? You're like, yes, they did it. So you're excited. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it is super transactional, though. I don't think either side has great love for the other. I think they're both using each other, which is fine. That's basically college sports in a nutshell right now. And by the way, you bring up the bike analogy. My son, when he was about 3, we got him a pedal-less bike.
Balance bike.
Holy cow! I was terrified, and then he's racing everywhere on it. It was one of the great scenes. What's on your Valentine's Day menu, by the way?
We're doing surf and turf. So I was in the middle of making crab cakes when I missed the phone call, and that's on me, 100% again. But we're doing crab cakes, and we're gonna do a New York strip, and I'm excited. This is what we do every year together, and this is the only time I let my wife in the kitchen with me. So, me, my wife, my daughter, we're gonna cook. We're gonna do crab cakes. We're gonna do New York strip. And we're gonna do potato bâtonnets.
Whatever that is. It sounds delicious. That is fantastic. Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours, and I'll catch up with you soon, man. That's Mike Felder. That's awesome. All right, when we come back, more poems because it is Valentine's Day. Poems from you to sports on Valentine's Day, and if we have time, we'll squeeze in a rewind next.
Chapel Hill to Charlotte, Greenville to Greensboro. Your sports, his state. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
The North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services is looking for people age 21 or older to volunteer in long-term care facilities. Community Advisory Committee volunteers help residents and their families advocate for the needs of individuals living in long-term care facilities, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and family care homes. Volunteers must complete orientation and training to become designated and certified representatives of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. Visit ncdhhs.gov/aging to find your county's ombudsman.
Electricity. It's what powers our lives, from the ordinary to the extraordinary. In North Carolina, 26 local electric cooperatives provide energy to 2.8 million people across the state. But we're providing so much more than affordable, reliable power. We're helping to strengthen the people and communities that make our state great, today and for generations to come. North Carolina's electric cooperatives. Power you can count on, now and always. Learn more at ncelectriccooperatives.com.
I'm Faith. I work as an American Sign Language interpreter, and I just graduated from my bachelor's program. I texted 988 because at the moment where I needed help, I realized that I didn't have access to English at the moment. Sometimes speaking gets hard for me, and they just helped me calm down, and then I was able to find a friend. It's free, and you can get in touch with people who are trained to help through all sorts of crises.
Call, text, or chat 988-24/7.
Hey, it's Adam Gold for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel. Again, America's #1 sports book, because FanDuel's your home for live NBA betting. So even if you miss the start of the game, you're not out of luck. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. New customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/AGS. FanDuel.com/AGS for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. FanDuel, make every moment more. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Did you know that since you have public power, your electricity is operated and controlled by people in your community, not by a for-profit, investor-owned company? These local folks are directly accountable to you. They don't answer to shareholders. They make decisions for the good of your community. What's more, your public power provider invests in your community, providing jobs and supporting your local economy. Local people working together to meet local needs. That's public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
It's that time of year to come see me. Don't let COVID-19 and the flu stop you. So make sure you don't have to cancel on those you love the most.
By getting your flu and COVID vaccines. They're safe and effective.
Both flu and COVID vaccines have been updated to fight against new virus strains.
So make sure you don't miss that family gathering and protect those around you. Ask your healthcare provider about updated flu and COVID-19 shots.
Get protected this season with updated COVID-19 and flu shots. Visit myspot.nc.gov and find yours today.
This is Adam Gold.
80-second mark, I scream in the booth. I screamed in the booth. Why the heck is he still on the ice?
Did you say it in Finnish?
I should have.
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. He curses in English.
He does.
All right, 2 seconds later, he scored.
Yes.
And I went, oh, that's why. That's what.
The Adam Gold Show.
The great Sam Cooke. It's amazing. What a great song.
I know.
Happy Valentine's Day to everybody.
It's a good chill, like romantic song.
I love Sam Cooke.
Good vibe.
Let it go. Just keep playing it. All right, let's this is the Adam Gold Show on a Valentine's Day, and we thought we could sit here and, talk about, players whose names remind you of Valentine's Day, and we could talk about Caleb Love and blah, blah, blah. But no. I did start the day with a little bit of a story about Ellis Valentine, who played for the Mets back in the very early 80s, who handed me a bat after batting practice. And then a friend of mine decided to, I love that Ellis Valentine story. And so Valentine was a great player for a short period of time, but a great player. Had a cannon for an arm. Incredible throwing arm. Wasn't great when he got to the Mets, which, frankly, we were all kind of used to. And it's a perfect place to start. As we read our Valentine's poems, here's the assignment I gave everybody today. Since today is a day to express love, nothing better than poetry. So give me a short poem, a haiku, a limerick on something you love in sports, a game, a player, a coach, a feeling. Has to be something we can read in 15 seconds or less. Best one wins my heart. All right, so Keith, I'm reading these from Blue Sky, although there's a couple of others from Twitter that we're going to get to. The Mets, NL East. Only Mets have Juan Soto. Mets win East easy. Easy. Thank you, Keith. It would be nice. They still have to pitch. All right, from Jarrett. The chill of the rink. Sticks on puck. Skate blades on ice. Hockey brings me joy.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too, buddy.
Great game. And I've been loving the Four Nations,
yes.
the 2 games in the Four Nations. I'm telling you, both games are going to be bangers tomorrow.
Oh, big time.
So, there's almost no chance that at 1 o'clock tomorrow I will be able to watch that live. It is going to have to be something that I watch later on, maybe early Sunday morning, although I have Liverpool Wolves, and that's a grudge match in my house because Robert Plant is an official with Wolverhampton. We've already established the fact that Robert Plant in my house rates higher than I do.
Right, yes.
So, yeah, I got a problem. So Aileen is a Wolves. She's all about Wolves. I am all about Liverpool, and we got to get over the fact that we only drew on Wednesday in the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. All right, to Linda, or from Linda. I like this, by the way. This might be the best one.
Oh.
There once was a man named Kochetkov that some games was easy to set off. The fans never knew what the coaches might do, but they never did turn his poke check off.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a winner. It's a winner, Linda.
I should have saved that for the last.
I know.
So good.
So good.
So good.
She managed to rhyme Kochetkov. She threw in poke check. I mean,
3.
it's just...
She 2 rhymes with Kochetkov. That is brilliant. All right. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Grumman. I love Svetch, but I need more power in my forward. Colorado cursed Rantanen. Go get Marchand. Okay, I mean.
Well, now Jarvie and Marchand have that bromance going, so that'll be good. That could be good.
That's a fun line. That's going to be a good line tomorrow. Canada versus the United States. All right, I have a couple more from Stormbringer. Hurricanes hockey. Chaotic cause and effect. Always take warning. I blew it. I apologize, Stormbringer.
That person.
All right. So let's read this one from John. Remember, these are poems, things that you feel, right? Doesn't mean we have to agree.
Right.
Just want to set that forward.
It sets the tone.
Right. Miko burning bright in the mountains of the night. Canes fans thought we were getting a star, but you now look average even from afar. We hope you find some magic during your stay. Truthfully, we want to package you and see you go away. All right. I don't agree with that.
Right. I see why you prefaced that.
Right. I don't agree with that last line.
Mm-hmm.
Everything up until that last line, I can live with.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't look great.
A little too soon for that last line.
Right? The last line, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't going to happen either. Right? But, okay. Right. So, there you go. We're trying to make sure. Do I have any? Yes, I read all the others.
Nice.
I've read all the others. So there you go.
I feel like Linda's a winner in that one.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I want to read it again.
Yeah.
Linda, this is the absolute winner. She gets my heart. And she says, at the end, she says, I enjoy never knowing which Piotr will show up. See, I don't enjoy that part.
Right.
This is not like the Forrest Gump box of chocolates.
Causes me anxiety.
Right?
Yes.
Because this is the one where you bite into it, and it's like, I don't even know, it's sort of coconutty, but it's not, and it's granular, and it's.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm like, no, I'm gonna spit that out.
Yep, nope, that's not.
And
what
not
we
gonna
want.
waste the calories on that.
Not worth it.
Give me the fudge in the middle of that. I want that. Anyway, yeah, I don't enjoy opening the package and seeing what's there. I want to know.
Will Piotr stay in the crease?
Yes.
Will he get out of the crease?
Gosh. God, even within good games, he does one thing that makes you go, what are you doing?
Is he throwing his stick? Is he hanging on to it?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, I'm not sure we have enough time to get into a rewind, so we're not going to do that. But I will say this, just real quick, in a serious note, because nothing that we really talk about here is that serious. We're talking about games. North Carolina, if you are going to keep the illusion going that you're an NCAA tournament team, and in spite of numbers and data and all of that, if they win out and lose to Duke in the season finale at the Smith Center, I think there is a chance that they are in the NCAA tournament if they win a couple of games at the ACC tournament. Now, I think Carolina is ultimately going to be in the 5 to 8 range in the league. So they will play on Wednesday, which will give them one game against nobody good and then a game against somebody good that will be from the top 4. So they will have an opportunity to win a game against a good opponent. If they win twice at the ACC tournament and beat everybody but Duke in the end of the regular season, I think there's a 50-50 chance they get a bid. Wake Forest, you are also on high alert. You should be. You blew a home game against Florida State. They've got 2 opportunities to win a good game between now and the end of the year. The best one is tomorrow at SMU. Win it. It is a must win. Victoria, thank you very much. Happy Valentine's to you and Michael.
You too.
Happy Valentine's Day to my wife. I'll see everybody next week.
Talking sports, dropping truth. The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
If Super Bowl 59 shows us anything, it shows that defense wins championships. That tried and true saying, defense wins championships. And if you're the Carolina Panthers, this is something you have to devote this offseason to fixing. Draft picks, free agency. You have to strengthen up that side of the football. You have to be great on defense in order to win.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.